All right, everybody, here we go. Today is Monday, June 1st, 2026. My name is Rob Carter. Welcome to the future. #1 radio / podcast in America. Good morning, Isaiah.
Good morning, America.
What a weekend, right? You paid attention to know it was your birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
What a crazy, crazy, crazy world. I put out a little X and Facebook post last night about this proposed legislation to merge military technologies and integrate the militaries of the United States and Israel.
So great.
Nobody will pay attention to it, Isaiah. Nobody will pay attention to what is going on in the country. Why are people not paying attention to this? This is insane. This is treasonous in my mind. And I don't want to be the doom gloomer. I got a buddy in Vegas who always busts my balls. He goes, Rob, you're in this doom cycle. I said, I'm not in a doom cycle at all. I mean, if things are outside of the bounds of reality, you have to bring them to people's attention. And
wake up cycle.
Yeah, it's a wake up call. I'm going to go enjoy my day. I'll probably get done today. Yeah. Maybe go hit some golf balls. It's a nice day outside. It's going to be hot and muggy in Florida, but
maybe that's what we rename the show one day. Wake up call with Rob Carter.
it's easy, the stuff that's going on, and nobody seems to even care or pay attention to it. It's weird. That's all I'll say. All right. I guess that's the top story today because I got several that I want to get into, but let's just talk about Israel because this is something I've been talking about. I've been talking about this, honest to God, Isaiah, in media the way we understand it now. I can't go back in time, but I'm talking about over the last 5 years. I started talking about this first. I was getting in trouble when I was all the way back when I was on News Talk Radio in St. Louis. I was getting the hate mail from everybody who, when I started speaking out against all the power that AIPAC had. Now, AIPAC is just a piece of the power, right? A lot of it comes through PACs, but it's coming through Israeli-backed money, okay? And again, I'll say to everybody that thinks I'm anti-Semitic, I don't have any problem with what Israel's doing. Nothing. I think Israel should do whatever they think is in their best interest. I'm upset with what America is doing. I live in America. If I lived in Israel, I'd want America's support. I'd want America to fight my wars for me and pick on all the people that are bothering me.
Absolutely.
I want America's back. This has nothing to do with the Jewish people, nothing to do with Israel. This has to do with my government making decisions for me that are treasonous. It is treasonous to turn over military technology to another country. Treasonous. I mean, do you see it any other way, Isaiah? Is it hyperbole to say that? I don't think so.
No, this is
nuts.
If I read it everything correctly, and from my understanding, this is a landmark deal, meaning that there's not been one done like this before. Right. And this will be the first of its kind of intelligence sharing, which is interesting to me because Israel, if you look at the political landscape, geopolitical landscape, Israel technically isn't our greatest ally. Maybe
I'm not even sure they're an ally. I think they're an adversary.
Maybe an ally in the Middle East, right? You could maybe get away with saying that.
Again, I don't think they're allies. I think the idea that Israel is an ally.
If we're going to call Saudi Arabia an ally, if we're going to call Qatar an ally, right?
But you're not. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
that's
why I'm using the air quotes. Is like, yes, if we're saying they're an ally, right? Then that's not, they're not our greatest ally, right? The UK would be our actual greatest ally. All these European countries would be more of a greater ally, right?
You'd think.
Canada is probably a greater ally than Israel. And so that's where I get worked up, Rob, is that why don't we have deals like this with countries that we actually have real alliances with? You know what I mean? Not
exactly. And you can see the influence. You can see the influence every day with the Trump administration, even with the Biden administration. You see this insane amount of influence that Israel has over America, or it just appears that way. And these two are, Siamese twins to begin with, and they're just making it look like it's Israel that's behind it when it's really us and Israel together to begin with. And we just let's start with it. I'm going to start with the Leo files because I think she does the best job of explaining it. Can you clip something for me so we can play it back later and you can see that I'm right?
Oh yeah, we'll bookmark this, right? That's what they say.
Yep, I saw this lady talking about it, and it's exactly what I was thinking. When the information comes out this early, it'll get taken out. So this bill, which was written by Adam Smith and Mike Rogers, they're on the Armed Services Committee. Okay, this is where the CIA and everybody, they kind of, this is where they hang out. The Foreign Intelligence, the Intelligence Committee, and the Armed Services Committee.
Are you setting up a video right now? You're saying?
No. We can. The first video I want to play is number 3.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, But I want to tell you what's going to happen with this bill, just so everybody understands, because this will be louder and louder and louder. And the alternative media, the Nick Fuentes of the world, they'll all weigh in. You'll have Megyn Kelly weighing in. You'll have Tucker Carlson weighing in. Everybody will weigh in on this, because this is where the independent press, alternative media press, the not so obvious alternative media, this is where they're going to be. They're looking at this going, how are people missing the relationship between Israel and how are we missing this? This is bananas what is happening here. But what'll go down, and that's why I hope that people just clip this and remember that I told you this. I heard this lady talking about it. As soon as she said, I said, that's exactly the way I see it going down, and it made me feel comfortable to give this opinion. They'll strip this out because there'll be a lot of backlash. They'll strip it out. And as they strip it out, you're going to clap and go, see, we do have a government. They did listen to us. They pulled this out of the NDAA. We're not going to have military technologies combined between the United States and Israel. And everybody will clap and everybody will be excited. And then when you're sleeping, when we go into the next Congress, they'll put it into another bill and you'll never even know anything about it. This is how the whole system works. It's just, remember when Nancy Pelosi said, you'll have to pass it to find out what was in it? What do people think that she meant by that? What do people think that she meant? These bills are getting written by the corporations, the donor class coming out of Harvard. That's where it comes from. It comes out of Harvard. They write the bills, and then the Democrats and Republicans, the bipartisan Democrat and Republicans in Washington, D.C., well, they're supposed to get it passed. Now, they can get it passed with one vote, right, where it's just one vote past whatever they need. If it's a majority, they get one vote's enough, and they organize the votes to get one vote more, and then everybody gets covered because they voted against it. And you go, see, my rep voted against it. Did you guys see I love my rep. I know it passed, but my rep voted against it. Stupid. People don't understand how this government is working. They pass what the donor class tells them to pass. Period. That's it. Your guy might get covered, or your girl might get covered once, but eventually they're going to vote for these things because this is a rigged and organized system run by the donor class, not run by your Congress and you. You think you have representatives in Washington, D.C. I ask all the time, my MMTLP people, do you have any representation in Congress? It's coming in on 4 years, right? Since they ripped you off, been almost 4 years. You got a guy sitting in prison in the state of Missouri who videotaped his own execution, was worried that he was going to get killed by the Missouri Highway Patrol. They tried to kill him. He videotaped the whole thing, and he sits in prison for 30 years. Do you think you have representation in the state of Missouri? Really? You have representation so long as you don't mess with the wrong people, like a mafia. That's the reality of it. Mm-hmm. So they will strip this out before the end of the year, and then it will come back into a bill when the new Congress comes in after the midterms. They'll slip it into another bill. You won't know. You won't be any of the wiser, and then it will just be happening, and you won't know anything about it. That's how they roll. That's our government. That's why in the Missouri Senate they don't want you to videotape them, because you might learn what is happening. And they're like, no, we don't want. We want to get flock cameras and AI data centers everywhere. We want to monitor everything that every person does, except for us. We don't want you watching us, right, Isaiah?
You can't monitor us. We want to monitor you.
Want to monitor you. You're not monitoring me. I'm monitoring you. Let me tell you how this works.
Yeah, that's how the government works. Don't you understand? We tell you what you need, and we monitor you.
and the people cheerleading it are just becoming. I don't want to be mean. I'm doing everything I can not to be mean, but the trivial nonsense that I hear on radio and television, and the absolute allegiance to certain ideologies without ever thinking what is really going on in this country, is very bothersome to me, because I think it's just a matter of time. We are losing our constitutional rights. You could say you're losing the country. I don't think we're losing the country necessarily, but if you consider the country to be a constitutional republic, we lost that already. It's just a matter of, is it's too far gone? Can we get it back? You've lost your constitutional republic. Your votes don't matter. They don't matter. You may think they matter, but they don't matter at all. Zilcho. Now, maybe at some local government things, they may matter. However you want to look at it at the local level, I don't take away local votes as being important, but the federal government, I mean, come on. Any close observation will tell you that is a one-party system run by the donor class and the bankers and the intelligence agencies, and they make all the decisions, and you are just aggravating them when you go to Washington, D.C., like we're going to do. By giving them any advice, any counsel, any direction. They're like, oh, for the love of God. How much money do you have? Are you going to give me a couple $1 million? Because if not, shut your pie hole, because I'm going to get that from AIPAC. And then we're going to do what AIPAC tells me to do. That's what they're doing up there. 93 of 100 senators take money from AIPAC. 93 of 100. That's Democrat and Republicans. Okay. This has to be Disgust. They're writing anti-free speech laws on a daily basis, not just in Missouri, but around the country.
I think
Anti-free speech laws.
36 states.
I think it's 38, actually.
38.
I heard somebody say 36.
We're going for 40, Rob.
We're going for 40. Let's listen to, this woman claims.
Got to do
media.
Before we get into the show, we got to do like and share, right?
Like and share.
Before we get too far into it, it's important that everyone likes and shares the video, because as we've been kind of letting everyone know, educating everyone on how it works, is that within the first 30 minutes of us being live here, it's super important to engage with the video, like it, share it with people. You can shoot it in a Facebook Messenger to someone, for example. You can click the link and you can text it to someone. It's also important to not only engage in the live chat like it is right here, but also go and leave a comment on the video. That's how we can, work against the algorithms as they're working against us. We can work against them and push back by engaging the ant army, as we say with People's Lobby, and through comments, likes, shares. All that's important, but also leave a comment and let us know what you think about the show. Is there something that we're not touching on that you'd want us to touch on? Is there a segment that you want, do you want us to get off YouTube and Facebook and get on Rumble exclusively so we can start playing music, right? All these things. We want to take feedback. So that's why it's important. It's not just for vanity metrics to say, oh, we got this many likes on the video or this many comments or anything, but it's going to help us reach more people with the message. So
if people understood that for me and you. Do I look dark today? I have everything the way I supposed, but I feel like I'm in darkness. What is going on?
No, you look fine.
I don't look dark?
No, it for some reason for me and you, I've noticed this. It looks a little darker than actually on the live stream.
I look like I'm in the dark. I got spotlights on top of me. Yeah. I don't understand what's happening.
No, you look fine. I can see you perfectly.
You got 2 spotlights on both sides of me, and that when I look into the camera, I look into the screen.
You got a good tan on too.
Tan? I now haven't been in the sun either. I don't even know what's going on with that. I got my little redness on my face because I'm taking some medicine that's drying out my skin. But I got to tell you, I just want to say to people, because I get this on Facebook a lot, I don't care about how many people are watching the show live. I don't care. I would love it if more people watch, because, when you're doing something like this, you want more people paying attention. But it's irrelevant to what we're doing. It's just irrelevant. We will get the clips and the impressions out there. Isaiah and I are both over 2 million impressions. You explained it to me, and I'm starting to recognize it. We want as many people to get pieces of the show, to get our, you don't have to listen to 3 hours to understand that I'm concerned about our relationship with Israel. You don't have to listen for 3 hours a day to recognize that AI data centers, in my opinion, are a really bad thing for not just the state of Missouri, but for the country and for the world. I think we're giving up our freedom and our liberties, and I think we're giving up our privacy. I think we're going to give up our ability to transact through physical currency. I think we're giving that all up, piece by piece by piece by piece by piece by piece, and then it all locks together like a puzzle, and you're effed. That's what I think is happening. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying to do anything other than I study this crap every single freaking day. Every day, all day long. Isaiah knows. All day. I mean, when I send you clips in the morning, how many I send you, Isaiah? 15, 20 every day?
Yeah, 20 usually.
20, and I have 100 that I've read, studied, and when I get information from social media, I go and check it out 99% of the time to make sure it's real. Every once in a while I get fooled. I do, because I'm in a hurry, and in the morning, and I'll put something in Isaiah. Isaiah's my fact checker. But it is not relevant how many likes or clicks or this or that or the other that we get. We're going to get out the message. So our advertising is what pays for the show. Advertisers and donations for Isaiah, donations to People's Lobby Missouri, that stays separate, but it helps us because People's Lobby Missouri is an advocate, a 501c4, for what we're talking about. What we're talking about here, there's an organization behind it called People's Lobby Missouri that allows us to address our government. It creates a marketing campaign for us to go after these people for the lies that they tell all of us. There it is, People's Lobby Missouri, main sponsor of the show. That is my organization. Jake Jackson is the one starting to get some attention. Ali Grafe is starting to get some attention. I hope that everybody does, right? I hope that everybody at People's Lobby Missouri gets attention, and it is not necessarily everything that is my opinion on there or the way that I would do it. These are free-thinking people that can disagree with me all they want. I get in arguments with people at People's Lobby all the time because we have a different way of going about things. But the bottom line is that People's Lobby Missouri is going to fight for you, not just in Missouri, but everywhere in the country. If you let us, we understand what is happening in these governments. We get it. We've been close enough to it. We see it. And all we're asking is you can go to People's Lobby Let me I'll do the plug since you got it up there. peopleslobbymo.com. peopleslobbymo.com. We want you to sign up. We want you to donate. We desperately want you to donate, but we also want you to be a part of things. If you can't afford it, don't give us money that you can't afford. If you can afford it, excellent. We're looking for small donations. When the world is perfect, we're going to have 10,000 donations at $5 a month. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the ants to organize. That's what we talk about all the time. The ants must organize in order to have a check on these big lobbying groups that lobby in Jefferson City and in Washington, D.C. That's what you have to use your power. You have to collectively use your power to go against them. If you don't, if it's all individual, if everybody wants the spotlight, if everybody wants this, if everybody wants that, we all stay separated. And because they're organized around a pile of money, then you can never get anything done. And your world is going to get less secure, more divided, more anxious, and your lives your families are going to start to unravel. Your life is going to unravel if we do not get this system in place, because the government is actively pitting us against one another, taking our money. It's a taxation without representation. Everybody is seeing it. They just don't want to recognize it, because if you are a little bit older, Isaiah, this is something that I have to fight against too. My 401k with me and my wife, since Rick has taken it over, has been through the roof. And there's a certain comfort in that for my wife, right? She goes, "Oh my God, look at this, up and to the right," as you like to say, Isaiah. Rick Babbitt is crushing it for us. Our savings has went through the roof. And I look at that and go, I have no idea whether it's going to be like that 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Right. The guy from Redacted, Clayton Morris, talked about this the other day on his show last week. I was going to play it. And he said, we are on paper rich if you're in the boomer class and you have 401k that you've had for a long time. So that's maybe half the country. You're on paper rich, but you're not cash rich. You're in your own security bubble in your mind because you have that 401k laying out there for you. Say you're my age, 55, 56 years old, and you got maybe 8 to 10 more years before you take it out. On paper, you look good. You're like, look at the 401k. It's really good. But if your 401k is worth half of the amount because of the money printing, because of the dollar going sideways, then you don't know what that money's actually going to have, the value that money's going to have at some point. You are rich on paper, but you're not rich with paper cash. And I think that's absolutely, Clayton Morris did a great segment on it. I loved it. Mike Sloan, welcome in, Mike Sloan. Big Mike Sloan right there. Best packaging company in the business right there. Best packaging company in the business, Mike Sloan. That's the guy that got me started, Isaiah. He's the one that funded the very beginning of everything for me, Mike Sloan.
Fantastic.
Yep. I went to school with him. He was my next door neighbor. Hadn't talked to him in years. He heard me on the radio. He calls me up and he said, "Rob, I want to be your first advertiser. I want to be your biggest advertiser. I want to get you launched." And as I tell him all the time, I could never be more grateful. There's just no other way to talk about it. All right. Got to get into the PLMO, peopleslobbymo.com. Now let's get into the show. All right. If you can, $5 a month. I mean, come on. I mean, are we putting in $5 a month in entertainment value for you?
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Good Lord. My wife was like, you're completely obsessed. You have to get your nose out of the computer. You have to get your nose out of the phone. Drives her crazy. And I said, I know, honey, I'm addicted to this information right now. I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Leah files
coming out right now because of the war.
What's that?
I said it's a lot coming out right now. We got the war. We got 250th anniversary coming up. We've got the midterms coming up, right? So it's a
and it's not even really season yet. You don't really get into politics. Like the numbers in politics, if you do political shows, they always bump in October, November, December when it starts to get cold outside. People are in their houses more. You have the elections coming up. You have the primaries, and people start to pay attention to what's going on. We're in the slow months. Summer months are the worst months for political talk, political communication, political conversation, and the like. And we're still doing incredible.
We're just getting started, baby.
I'm up to almost 2.1 million impressions on X in 34 shows.
That's what I'm talking about.
What? Come get some. All right. Leah files.
Yep.
Leah files. All right. Now this woman claims that she is a part of the intelligence community. Let me set it up for you real fast. A post that I put out on Facebook and X recently talks about the integration of the U.S. and Israeli military. Okay. This is put into an NDAA. It is sponsored by Mike Rogers and a guy named Adam Smith. The reason Adam Smith is important is Adam Smith is also the person who co-sponsored with Mac Thornberry the Smith-Munt Modernization Act. The Smith-Munt Modernization Act allowed for domestic propaganda. So normally when you put propaganda out, you'd want to send it off to Iran and you want them to think like we do. So that's foreign propaganda. We are now selling it into Americans. And you wonder why nobody has any understanding of what's going on. It is now allowed for foreign propaganda to be shoved down the throats of Americans. And where do you think that foreign propaganda is coming from? You think it's coming from Russia, China, Iran. I submit to you it's coming from Israel. That's where I think it's coming from. And you know that, or you can start to understand why that might be, when Israel and the United States militaries want to combine and integrate and share technology. We are sharing technology. I want to take this in for a minute, Isaiah. We're going to share technology if this bill were to pass. Again, I think it won't, and then it will. Ultimately, it will, because they wouldn't have written it if they didn't plan it to pass. That, by the way, Isaiah, exactly what happened with the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. Exactly what happened. They wrote the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. They got a lot of pushback. They couldn't get the bill passed through legislation. They slipped it into an NDAA that nobody was even paying attention to, and voila, Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. Like magic. We'll have to pass it to find out what's in it. Nancy Pelosi. Mwah, beautiful. Okay?
Because we don't want to read it.
so this bill that we're getting ready to play for you here, this Leah Files lady who claims she's with the intelligence services, but I did look at everything. I read the bill. I read all the commentary about the bill. She's exactly right as the way she explains. I think she just does a better job than me because it's more in her field, right? So Leah Files explaining recent legislation that would integrate the U.S. military with the Israeli military and share technologies. Check it out. Clip number 3. Go.
Government just tried to merge our military with our greatest allies' military, sneak it into a 1,000-page defense bill, and hope that nobody would notice. I read it, I analyzed it, and I want to tell you what it is, what it isn't, and what we can do. Every year, Congress has this must-pass, must-fund bill. It's the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA. It's 1,000 pages long. Nobody reads the whole thing. They don't even know what these bills say, which is very concerning. What they did was sneak into it in Section 224 with a
Okay, 1,000 pages long, Isaiah. If we had a government that cared about its people and didn't want all this nonsense shoved into a bill, wouldn't they just make legislation that says a bill can be no more than 20 pages?
Yep.
To make I ask the American people, if you're listening to me, if you had a government that gave 2 craps about what you think, wouldn't they shrink these bills down so that you could read them and understand them? Do you have time in your life to read a 1,000-page bill to understand what's in it and then be able to tell your representative vote for or against? Do you have that kind of time? Isaiah, do you have time to read 1,000 pages?
No.
Of legal mumbo jumbo? No, you don't.
No, I have to read, even just for my the alderman meetings. Every time I get a packet, it's like 50 pages long for maybe 2 or 3 agenda items.
Right. Just think of a 1,000-page bill. Nobody reads it. The reps can't read it. Nobody knows what's in it. The only people that can give them some kind of consolidation of information is on their staff. Their staff stays there forever. The staff is coming from, like I said, Harvard and Yale. Let me get that for you. Harvard and Yale. In a minute. Let me find this for you. Isaiah. Oh, did I get rid of it? I think I did. No, here we go.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
You notice we don't get to write bills, Isaiah?
Yeah.
You notice they never go, hey, Rob and Isaiah, will you guys write us a bill? We'll just fly that through Congress real fast. Just write us a bill. Tell us what you guys want as the American people, and we'll fly that through. No, they don't do that.
We'll
what
push
they
it
do
through
is they
24 hours.
Yeah, they get their stooges at Harvard to write bills for their donor class, and then the donor class shoves it down the throats of the Democrats and Republicans. They put it onto the president's desk without ever reading it. It goes from Harvard to the political class, which doesn't read it. That goes to the president's desk. They sign it, and we're being governed by stuff that nobody's even read. 1,000 pages. Again, I ask the American people, if your government cared about you, wouldn't somebody like Josh Hawley or an Eric Schmidt go up there and go, yeah, this is ridiculous. I can't read 1,000 pages. I don't even know what's in these bills. This is unfair because now I have to vote on something that my people are going to be governed by that I don't have a full concept of what's in it. So what I want to do is I'm going to try to pass legislation that says every bill should be 20 pages or less. That way the American people can read it and advise their representatives. No. Can't do that. That would be serving the American people, but we're not interested in serving the American people. What we're interested in doing is running up a $40 trillion debt, taking the American people and bending them over the desk and having our way with them. That's what they like to do. $40 trillion in debt. You have no idea how much your money is worth. You got needles stuck in your arm. You have the borders wide open. You have your kids being indoctrinated. You got global climate change. You got chemtrails in the skies. You got the Smith Modernization Act. You got everything that you can think of to say your country's being taken over. And we'll just act like it's not happening because it's a beautiful day and it's sunshine in the summertime and the Cardinals win 5-1 last night over the Cubs. What's on The Masked Singer this evening? This is the way our world works. Nobody can.
Trump's gonna pass the Sunshine Protection Act, though, just so we know.
Thank God.
Yeah.
That's something that's been on my mind for a long time. All right. Leah Files, continue on with her. I apologize. 1,000-page bills. I just ask you again, if you had a government that worked for you, would they have 1,000-page bills that nobody read? I'll let you think about that one. Go ahead.
Fancy name, the United States Israel Defense Cooperation Initiative. It's boring on purpose. When the government tries to make something boring, when they try to bury it in the headlines, whoop, spidey senses go off, and we're going to pay extra close attention to it. And I'm glad I did, because this thing is wild. What it would do is link the U.S. and Israel militaries together at the deepest level that we have done with anybody. We have our Five Eyes partners. We have our partners that we are protecting. This is different. It's joint weapons development, shared military networks, something that they literally call data fusion. And if you know what data fusion is, it's basically what these data centers are that we're building.
Can we pause it?
They're data fusion centers. They're pulling all of the data together. They're not just standalone.
That is the most important thing to get out of this. It's really good. She's got 6 minutes. We're going to pause it along the way. The most important thing to understand about this is you're trying to figure out why the federal government mandated down to the states that they would put in these AI data centers. You're trying to figure out how Meta and Google got so enmeshed in the state of Missouri. Like, how did what happened? We don't want the AI data centers, but they are. Open your mouth, Missouri. Open your mouth, and let me shove them data centers right down your throat. You don't like them? We like them. I don't care what. If I'm the Missouri government, Isaiah, we like the AI data centers. We really don't care if you like them. Shut up. You're bothering us. We hear you. We see your 2,000 people till 4 a.m. in Festus, but we want the data centers because there's a lot of money in data centers. There's a lot of money in building a technical prison without any conversation with the American people.
Don't you want to use Facebook, Robb?
Don't you want to use Facebook, Robb? Come on, Robb. Aren't you using Facebook right now to complain about AI? This is the argument. This is the most ridiculous and just absurd argument of all time.
Low IQ is what I call it.
Israel are the people behind, these dual citizens are the people behind AI data centers. Mark Zuckerberg, Zionist. Sam Altman, who stood right by Donald Trump along with Larry Ellison, Zionist. Peter Thiel, Zionist. They're all Zionists. And Zionists are worried about Israel. They're not worried about you. They're worried about Israel for whatever reason. And these are the people that are advising the president of the United States. Howard Lutnick, Zionist. Mike Huckabee, Zionist. They all are Jared Kushner, Zionist. Steve Witkoff, Zionist. Paula White, Zionist. Everybody that surrounds Donald Trump is a Zionist. And then the Zionist philosophy, which many of the Jews don't like, by the way, just so you understand. Okay, that Zionist ideology, now we're beginning to integrate our militaries, or they want to. Think of just how treasonous that is to even suggest it. I would suggest that both of the people that wrote the bill, they should be in handcuffs right now. Even if it doesn't pass, they should be handcuffed for even suggesting that we give our military secrets to a foreign nation that bombed the USS Liberty and tried to kill American sailors in 1967. And our government and our media has been holding that back for 50 plus years. Almost 60 years, Isaiah. Coming up on 60 years. They've hid that information. A country that tried to slaughter American sailors, who comes to the United States and stands before Congress and tells us about Iran having nuclear weapons and Iraq having nuclear weapons, that takes us to war, is the same country that bombed us intentionally in 1967, and the witnesses that are now in their late 70s and early 80s can't get their message out on Fox News. And nobody that watches Fox News seems to be bothered by that. As they wave their flags in the military and Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters and that whole gang, they don't seem to mind. They wrap themselves in the military all day long, military and war, right? If you're a patriot, you have to enjoy going to war. But the people that watch Fox News don't seem to go, hey, wait a minute. I'm watching a news outlet that is restricting information from sailors that were bombed by Israel in 1967, and they want to tell that story because Israel might not be our greatest ally. They actually might be an adversary to America. And they can't tell that story on Fox News. They won't let them. They won't even let them on. Newsmax won't let them on. Not one, but multiple.
Come on, we'll go on the hangout with Sean Hannity. It's laid back. It's cool. It's a podcast style, Rob.
Yeah.
This is alternative media, right?
Sean Hannity.
I thought it was so funny that they did that. You know, he's got, the Sean Hannity show. Everyone knows
Who
that.
is listening to Sean Hannity at this point? That's what I don't understand. Who in the right mind that's over the age of 40? Now, if you're under the age of 40, I can understand it. But if you're over the age of 40 and you're still watching Sean Hannity, I just have to shake my head at you. Sean Hannity has said the exact same nonsense since the year 2000. He was for John McCain. He's for Lindsey Graham. He's for Mitt Romney. He's for whatever the Republican establishment tells him to think. That's what he's for. So why even pay attention? Why didn't you get the talking points from the Republican Party? You don't need Sean Hannity. He's just a waste of your time. That's aggravating. All right, so Leah files. So two things before we move on. Number one is
That's funny. Glass Guy says he's okay with the Jewish space lasers. He wanted me to read that. He's saying he's basically, I guess his opinion is that he's okay with the technology from Israel over aligning with, say, someone like Iran. We'll just use them as an example.
why?
Sure. Yeah, that's
Why do you feel that way?
yeah. I don't know. That's I guess the
Did Israel bomb a U.S. warship and act like they didn't?
yeah, that's what I was going to
The
say.
United
The
States cover up for
excuse
the-
I get is that, they're not blowing.
I wonder if Glass Guy Isaiah would feel the same if his father or his brother or his best friend had a missile shot through his face on the USS Liberty in 1967. I wonder if he'd feel the same.
Doesn't
wonder if
like
he feels the same
doesn't like Arabs. He's saying he's just rather have them, I guess.
But why would you say that though? This is the point I don't understand.
Yeah.
Have you been to Iran? Have you been to Iraq? Have you been to the Middle East to see their culture and to see how they treat Westerners? Well, that's why we played that show one day where the guy from Australia went to Iran and walked around the streets. Did they treat him as a friend, Isaiah? Did the people seem to be upset with him?
Give me the small hats. I love it.
Not me.
Yeah, the excuse that I hear, which is reasonable. I'm not saying it's unreasonable to think this, right? I'm
Yes.
just saying that I think that it's a narrow way of thinking, but I don't think it's unreasonable. The excuse is that, Arabs have and Muslims, they do suicide bomb. And I understand that, right? That is terrible. But I think that that's a narrow way to view it because what you just said, USS Liberty, right? Other attacks. October 7th, Netanyahu allowed that to happen, right?
Yes.
Things like that.
They're the ones causing all the
That's the
problem.
reason I think it's just a narrow view. Like I said, it's reasonable to think that. It's not unreasonable. But
Can I give Glass Guy?
yes,
what-
absolutely. Yeah.
Ayatollah. What did the Ayatollah say? Do you remember this, Isaiah? We've talked about this multiple times.
Yeah, it was.
The Ayatollah held a press conference in 2019 and said, I want to talk to the American people. When we are chanting death to America, we're talking about your government. Talking about our government, not your people. Talking about your government. And I would guess if we're dropping bombs on their society and around their neighborhood time after time after time, when we took over their country in 1953 with our CIA and British intelligence and stole their oil, that might make you not like you as much. I just wonder if America was in the same position. If, let's say, China, right? China and Vietnam attack America. Glass Guy is a good name.
I had to put that. That's too funny. I don't know if he is, but it's just funny.
If Vietnam and China attacked America, would we feel the same way about them? Would we go, you know what? They're just fine. They're everything's good. They attacked America. Israel attacked America. Israel attacked America on purpose. What don't people understand about that, Isaiah? What do they think that means? They intentionally bombed a U.S. warship in 1967. They have been spying on America forever. And now this government, and I would say this, Donald Trump could be just trying to expose it. That is very possible. I was talking to my friend Andy the other day, and he's going to be on the show tomorrow. And we talked about that at length on Saturday morning. I said, you know what? I am not opposed to that belief. That is very possible that Donald Trump really, from 2016 to 2019, could have been saying, you know what? I'm going to allow all of these things that these maniacs want to do. I'm going to allow the American people to see it. I'm going to bring that to their attention. I'm going to let them see the stolen elections. I'm going to let them see the pharmaceutical companies. I'm going to let them see the insurance companies. I'm going to let them see the open borders. I'm going to let them see all of it. And then they're going to have to do something about it. I can't do it. I, as Donald Trump, I'm one man. I can't control everything that happens in the society. So the American people are going to have to do something about it. It could be just that simple, that Donald Trump is just playing along with these maniacs so that you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible. Doubtful. Highly doubtful, but possible. Right? I don't want to say it's not possible. Leah Files, 1,000-page bill. Right? 1,000-page
quick
bill.
read.
A quick 1,000-page read. Continue on with Leah Files.
Let's do it.
Stovepipe data centers. It basically means that our military's data becomes their military's data. We co-produce weapons together. And the part that not enough people are talking about is that there's one person in the Pentagon overseeing it. And if I had to put money on it, I would think it would be Feinberg. If you know what I think of Feinberg, it's really, really scary. I've done a deep dive on him. You should go check it out. But they're standing up a separate office.
So she's talking about the Pentagon guy, Feinberg, right? Feinberg, guess what school he went to?
Harvard,
Yale, or Princeton. He went to Princeton.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
Now, we're going to pull up Feinstein after this clip just so we can make sure that everybody understands what's going on.
Feinstein.
Feinberg.
That's so funny that she's
Feinberg. I'm going to Diane Feinstein. Feinberg, so you understand, he's a money guy, and now he's in the Pentagon. Be like me, Isaiah. If I was let's say I'm a professional golfer, and then I go, you know what? I should run the heart transplant surgeries at the hospital down the road because I play professional golf.
It's so funny that you say that because just so you guys know, we have not talked about this at all. You sent me the link because we had a mess up this morning with sending links, and so right before we started the show, Rob sent me this link that we're going to show in a minute about Steve Feinberg. And I was reading through it. In the first paragraph, it says that his experience is in capital management. And I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking, Rob.
It's ridiculous, but nobody knows, Isaiah.
How's this guy qualified for this position?
No, well, because they're sending trillions of dollars to the Pentagon. And he knows how to wash it.
Yeah. How can we?
How you wash money, Isaiah? That's what the Pentagon does. It washes money. It washes money for the intelligence agencies, and then the intelligence agencies give their money to people like the Taliban and Hamas and Hezbollah. And then when those so-called terror organizations cause problems, then we send our military in to fix it. Perpetual war forever. Why would we be in perpetual war, Isaiah? Why would America be in perpetual war? Seriously, we have all the power in the world. We have these nuclear weapons. We have the greatest technology. We're a free people. Why would everybody hate us so bad?
That's what young people don't. I don't know. I just think we can't get a grasp around why we do go and fight these wars that have nothing to do with us.
Because it makes money for them.
Yeah. When people say it is for us, but yeah, it makes money for us. That's right. Like a bad neighbor, Israel is there.
What's Ari got to say here? Ari, what's your opinion?
He's not a. This is a parody account. Yeah, this isn't a real. Yeah, it's a parody account. I know Ari. Yeah, he's hilarious.
Oh.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He funny? Yeah, he's hilarious.
All right, do Leah Files. I'll try not to interrupt her for a bit. I apologize.
No worries.
With a separate budget, that means that it's basically impossible to undo. That is a very important point in this. Let's talk about the problems with it. Right now, we support our greatest ally through aid, hundreds, billions of dollars of aid. And we can see it. We can see who votes on it. We can see how much they send. Congress does it. And it is out in the open for us to see, make decisions on, vote people out over. But Section 224 takes that money away from being out in the open and puts it in a defense budget that is easily moved through different channels. Trust me. Back rooms of defense contracting is where this will lie. And that, to me, as a money person, says the most of what they're trying to do. Interestingly, Americans are saying no more AIPAC, no more sending money to them. And so they're like, oh, well, let's just stand up in office and call it this. Do they think we're that stupid? There would be almost no public oversight, and the DoD can't even pass an audit. So we'd actually be doing more with them and giving more to them without any of us knowing what. That's scary, especially knowing why I think they're doing this, like their motivations for this, which is all of a sudden a public, hey, we don't want this. Oh, well, then we're going to move it to back channels. This is how we do it. With a country who actually causes more problems than anyone else. And here's the kicker. We don't even do this with our closest treaty allies. When I first saw this, the first thing I thought was, one, what is this? And two, who do we do this with? Because I've never heard of this. And I've spent 20 years in the intel community, and for the DoD, unheard of. And so I was like, well, let me check. Maybe we do it somewhere. No, we don't. We don't do it with the UK. We don't do it with Canada. We don't do it with the countries that we are legally bound to defend, but we want to do it with this one. Red flags. We have no formal defense treaty with our greatest ally. This right here, the financial part, the oversight part, the moving of the money part to these dark back channels, and the fact that the two congressmen who brought this forward, which I'll have to get to in a different one, are all funded by defense contractors and AIPAC. This isn't a small detail in all of this. So let's talk about the ugly, because that wasn't ugly enough. That was just bad. Two main things jumped out at me that are like, oof. One, it's nearly impossible to undo. An aid package expires, you can let it lapse, you can renegotiate it, it runs out, we can say no. Once you've merged networks and data and weapon systems, you can't just say, no, I don't want to do that anymore. That's infiltration. It's baked into the system permanently. The other one is that this is moving forward right now. This is moving right now. While we are in the Situation Room negotiating this war, and our greatest ally is over here out of Lebanon wanting to take 70% of Gaza, we will be merging with them. No, this is so scary. We know you're up to something nefarious when you're hiding it, when you're burying it in the headlines, when it's happening at the same time as Pam Bondi being on the AI board, as our weapons-grade plutonium going to 5 private companies, as Peter Thiel moving his family to Argentina, as being in the middle of a war that we can't afford, caused by our greatest ally, and now this. They're hiding it because permanently fusing our military with our greatest allies' military, especially with the state of the United States and Americans against what they're doing, against our greatest ally, well, putting that up for a vote, they know how we'd vote. Same reason why the shady people in Congress tried to pass the FISA 702 Warrantless Act at 2 o'clock in the morning. If Americans don't want it, well, we're just not going to tell them about it. And this was their strategy because they don't think we're paying attention. And I don't think they realize the distrust that exists in America right now. Oh, we're paying attention, baby. This is treason, if you ask me. It is about, should the most permanent military entanglement in history exist? Should the greatest power, the United States, merge with anybody? No, absolutely not. We have had allies who have become our enemies. We don't have good pickers. It's just like regime changes. We're about to get in bed with a real toxic mofo. What do we have, Stockholm Syndrome? So here's what we can do. It's not law yet, so call your congressman. I know you say it doesn't do anything, but call them and make sure they know this is BS and you don't want it. All of them are up for re-election, so we have to at least try. Call them. It takes 60 seconds. Stay tuned.
Okay, Isaiah, can I read this to you? This is the language in the bill. It says, I looked it up on X or in Grok and, what have you. It says full legislative language from the bill itself. The Secretary of Defense shall designate an executive agent. So just one person. So one person is going to be in charge. She thinks it's going to be Feinberg, who's the money guy, to launder the money, which they've been doing. I don't know if people know FASA B56. There's $21 trillion missing from the Pentagon that's unaccounted for. They don't pass any audits. If you could just, I'm on a quest to understand how the government works, and it makes more and more sense to me all the time. If you send trillions of dollars to the Pentagon and the Pentagon doesn't have to pass an audit, then the Pentagon can use that money to create the intelligence network around the world with dark money that you never get to see. And Donald Trump and the Republicans, along with the Democrats, had a secret meeting around the same time that remember when who was the judge that everybody was fighting against? What was that guy's name? They said he raped some girl, and Chrissy Blasey Ford came out. What was that judge's name? One of the Supreme Court judges, Isaiah. What's his name? Come on, somebody's got to know who it is.
Yeah, someone will tell us.
Right around that same time, they had a little secret agreement to take that money off the books so it wouldn't be accounted for. 21 trillion. It's up to $22 trillion right now. Brett, what's Brett's last name? Brett. Why can't I think of it? What's going on with me? I'm gonna wait.
Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh. Thank you. Right. So right as that was happening, they were taking the money away, or they were taking the money off the books. FASA. You can look it up yourself. FASA, FSAB 56, FASA B 56. You can look it up. You don't have to take my word for it. All right. So here's what the legislation says. The Secretary of Defense shall designate an executive agent responsible for synchronizing cooperative efforts between the United States and Israel to expand and accelerate bilateral defense technology research, development, testing, evaluation, integration, and industrial cooperation by identifying jointly developed or Israeli origin technologies with operational utility for potential integration into United States systems and programs of record. That'll be fun. That'll be great for everybody. And now you understand the AI data centers just a little bit better. I really think the AI data centers, I think if people saw them as global surveillance systems, it would change their opinion of what they are. It's going to be a global surveillance system all over the world. For international purposes, not for the purposes of you and I. It's not going to help you and I at all. None. You might get some. I don't even know that it's going to help at all. I don't think it can do what they say it's going to do, Isaiah. I was listening to the guy that invented this. He was got a Nobel Peace Prize, and he was speaking, and he said he believes that over time the machines will have basically consciousness, where they're able to communicate with one another. They'll be trained to communicate with one another. And if they are trained to be an adversary of humanity, they will destroy it. That's what we're building. So the guy that came up with the idea originally got a Nobel Peace Prize for it, or I think got a Nobel Peace Prize. He says that over time, these computers will be able to communicate with one another like they have consciousness. And he said, if they are not programmed for good, if they're programmed for bad, they're going to be smarter than us. They're going to think quicker. It's because they're going to be able to attain information. They're going to be able to work with one another, and they will be able to destroy humanity. You won't be able to turn them off. They'll just figure everything out. That's what he says is going to happen if we don't pay attention to the building of it. And we're building it as fast as we can with no public conversation.
Woohoo! Got to beat China.
It is unbelievable.
Aren't you so excited to have an executive agent in the Pentagon working on behalf of the U.S. to make sure that Israel has all of our deep, dark secrets?
I want a guy with a background in money to be running the Pentagon. Makes perfect sense, right? Let it make. I mean, Isaiah, when you say it does get comical at times, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You got a guy that is going to be that she believes, and it's probably what it'll be, with incredible power inside the Pentagon that comes from Wall Street. Sorry, he got no background in military or the Pentagon or defense or anything else.
Here's my political cartoon I made.
There you go. Nice. You made that fast.
Oh yeah. Cross out executive, just put foreign there instead.
Right. That's really good. Save that one for us. I like that. Might have to post it.
Absolutely. That's just how I feel about it, personally.
Let me read just a little bit. Thomas Massey put this out. Okay, then we'll I want to get some other stuff.
I do have something I want to address about Thomas Massey that someone was saying after you're done with this.
Thomas Massey posted this bill on his on X, and it says, if the provisions in the NDAA to integrate, synchronize the U.S. and Israeli militaries, Section 224, makes it out of committee, I'll offer an amendment to strip it from the bill on the floor. We are a sovereign country. That's what he puts, and then he has a link to the language. Okay, so that's from Thomas Massey. Now, again, I agree with Thomas Massey. I think this is going to come out, and then when Thomas Massey is gone, it's going to go in. I think that's one of the reasons that Thomas Massey is out of the House. I think that's one of the reasons Marjorie Taylor Greene is out of the House, because they would have been screaming about this inside the halls of Congress, and they're going to be gone because Donald Trump says they are the worst of the worst. Okay. AIPAC numbers. Okay. So AIPAC trackers shows all of the money that comes directly from AIPAC, not the other PACs, because there's millions of dollars to be made elsewhere. But I'm just talking about the AIPAC itself. Mike Rogers, who's a co-sponsor of this bill, I got $957,427 from AIPAC. And Adam Smith, who has a long history of mental illness, got $457,000. Not bad. Decent money to write a little bill. Not too terribly bad. What were you going to say? What were you going to bring up about Massey?
So I don't know if you've seen there's been a lot of conversations happening, obviously, after his election. Even we were talking about it after the election, after he had lost. There's still people talking about Cynthia West. There was even that X space that I was telling you about when we were on the phone the other night, right?
I listened in for a little bit last night.
Yeah, crazy. And so everyone, I'm pretty sure I saw even like people like Cat Turd and, that the whole MAGA influencers, what they started putting out was, what's up, Massey? I thought you were going to read the names. I thought you were supposed to read that. You said you were going to read the Epstein files name, right?
Yep.
And that's what someone in here said. Here. And where's Thomas Massey? Wasn't he going to read the names? Was it all just a distraction hoax? So
well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
No. So this is just where sometimes I just want to bang my head against the wall because they don't research.
He hasn't done it yet, has he?
They've been in recess the entire time since his election. They haven't been.
He said this a long time ago. So even before he left, he said he was going to do it. He said he was going to do it in a press conference months ago.
He put out. Well, he did read names already when he
read just daily.
Yeah. And so, but after the election, after he lost, that's what he said.
Okay.
So after he lost the election, he said, "I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the names."
Okay.
And so that's what people are responding to. Is after he lost his election, which was on May 19th. They've been in recess since May 22nd.
See, I've been frustrated with him because he did a press conference with Marjorie Taylor Greene right on the steps of the Capitol and stood right next to her when she said she was going to read the names.
Yeah.
And she never did.
And then she resigned.
But she didn't read the names. Why not read the names before you resign?
But it's like, are you, sorry, but are you dumb to think that he hasn't been back to the House of Representatives yet?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, That's where sometimes I want to beat my head against the wall because people are complaining about something that he hasn't had an opportunity to do yet.
I hope he does it.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? It's like you're complaining, you're putting all this stuff, but the entire Congress is not in session right now. And they're like, I thought you're going to read the names. You're on vacation, right? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, everyone's on vacation. Are you stupid? Like, what are you talking about?
You be nice. You be nice.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like, are you really not that smart or something? Because it takes.
I think it might be Isaiah though. That from prior to him going in there.
Search, right?
Yeah, but they might be talking about prior to him going in there because he did make a statement.
This is what everyone's talking about online. Is they said you said after you lost your election.
Okay, so they did put a disclaimer in there. Okay,
no, this is what it's like. This is the propaganda, right? Is they're pushing this propaganda out there to make us think he's not doing what he said he's going to do, but he hasn't had the opportunity to do it. So what are you talking about?
I'm with you. I'm still wondering whether he's going to do it. I'm
not. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you. I'm with you. I'm still saying, 50-50.
What are you talking? I'm saying, what are you talking about? This is just lunacy.
I'm going to get into your sweet spot.
Oh, right. Oh joy.
Okay, so Joel Webbin.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of Joel Webbin? Who I see his videos. I think they're great. Who is he?
Yeah, great guy. He's got
him all the time.
Controversial past with his last church and ministry. I don't know if you know the history, but
I don't. Joel Webbin, Webbon. You brought his name to my attention. You must have said his name, then he started popping up in my feed all the time because our computers are talking to one another. They hear Joel Webbin, then he pops up on the feed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the only concern that I have is just, and I don't hold everything in someone's past against them, but he was a pastor and and this was a church in California he was a pastor of, and he started doing online stuff. And that's typically how a church or a ministry can grow an additional ministry, is start doing things online to reach more people that are not just local, right? Yeah. It's very common. And so he started doing that, but there was just some shady things that happened. And he asked them if he could go start a new church in Texas. And he went down there, and then he's kind of broken away from that church now. And he has this whole big media empire, but he started it with like the church's money in California. And so That's the controversy that like we talk about is like, is someone getting paid? Are they, is there nefarious intent behind what they're doing?
Right.
That's what we talk about with, Nick Fuentes, with Candace Owens, with Tucker Carlson. So I don't know if that's his case, but the things he's saying are good things. It's like the same thing with Tucker and Candace. Hey, they're saying good things. They're saying factual information. He's hitting the nail on the head as far as scripturally and contextually and things like that. And that's why I said I don't want to judge someone from their past, but that's how he got to where he was. That's what makes me a little,
Yeah, there's a hint of doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
Hint of doubt. Okay, I got to read this to you then. Okay, Joel Webbin on X. It says, check this out. This is crazy, by the way. And I want you to look this up. So if you can, just while I'm reading this, look up United Nations says Israel has rape as policy. United Nations says Israel has rape as a military policy. This is what he writes, Joel Webbin. What the United Nations verified, not alleged, not reported, verified, is that Israel's forces raped prisoners with objects, raped them with dogs, shot them in the genitals, and did it consistently enough across enough facilities and enough years that they concluded it was policy rather than misconduct. Israel called it a blood libel. And then he goes on to say, whenever Israel breaks out of that term, it's eventually verified. AIPAC, asset politicians, and Israel First Zionist clergy have assured us that Israel has the most moral military in the world. According to the report trusted by the U.S. for the last 15 years, the most moral military in the world has a huge rape problem. Do you find any articles about the United Nations claiming that Israel has a rape problem?
Yep. Israel has been added to a UN blacklist of countries that commit sexual violence in war zones for the first time. A report by the Office of Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the UN had last year verified 31 cases of sexual violence perpetrated by Israeli forces against Palestinians from Gaza and the West Bank. So this isn't just about this isn't specific about all these people. It's just Palestinians too. That's kind of crazy. It said 13 of the cases had occurred in 2025 and 18 in 2 years prior. Wow.
Okay, so
more even before October 7th had happened. Yeah, so they're on a UN blacklist.
All right, last thing on this, and then we're going to play a couple. Then I got to get some advertising in. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she went out. So there were pictures of her and Thomas Massie. They went on vacation together, and then all the rumors began. Are they going to have a presidential bid, Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene in 2028? Right. So it's the conversation that's going online when these two families took a vacation together. So Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie's families vacation together. She comes back and she says, "We just said goodbye to our good friends Thomas and Carolyn Massie. The civil war in the Republican Party is successfully gutting the true America firsters like myself, Thomas, and others. But I don't think most Americans realize the extent of what's happening, how bad it is, and what it is going to produce." Well, I think we do, right? I think we're kind of understanding it, but I don't think most people can get through the propaganda or the conditioning. It must take some form of awakening, Isaiah. I don't know what it takes, because I was in that brainwashing mode, right? I was there for a long time. COVID did it for me, but I don't know that it would have, Isaiah, if I had not been in China at the time. I just don't know. If I hadn't got to see that with my own eyes, to know it for 100%, nobody could talk me out of it because I witnessed it with my own eyes. I might just think it was a mistake, that Donald Trump was misled, that they, nobody really knew what was going on and all that nonsense. I might have believed that if I hadn't been in China when COVID started.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. Yeah. Joneswater.com, joneswater.com for all of your air and water filtration needs. Always remember my good friend, Everett Jones. You'll be the filter or you'll buy the filter. joneswater.com. Now, the reason Jones Water is a part of our advertising is I've known him for a long time. He jumped on right away, and I've had a lot of people do business with Everett Jones. They all love him. Air and water filtration needs. They're a healthy family. His daughter was supposed to come in. She does wellness on their page, right? She's a nutritionist. And he said, "Rob, how can you have a healthy family if you're drinking tap water? Is that even possible? I mean, you're basically drinking water, cooking with it, cleaning your clothes, cleaning your house with water that has all kinds of chemicals in it. You cannot drink the water out of the faucets like you used to, especially in St. Charles County and some of the other places around the area. I wouldn't be drinking that water. Air and water filtration is the first step to a happy, healthy home. If you want to do business with Everett, St. Charles County, Missouri, Lincoln, Franklin, Warren, St. Louis, and Jefferson. If you go to the Illinois side, the east side, the dark side, Madison, Monroe, Jersey, and St. Clair, joneswater.com. 636-899-1040, 636-899-1040. You'll be the filter, or you'll buy the filter, joneswater.com, 636-899-1040. All right. Rack Custom Coatings. I got a bunch of pictures that I'm going to send to you, Isaiah, of all the work that Rack Custom Coatings does.
Fantastic.
Pretty impressive. Rack, R-A-K, customcoatings.com, locally owned and operated since 2001. This is a family-owned business. Rich McQuay, you can see the beautiful flooring that is on our screen right now. As he likes to say, we install industrial-strength, long-lasting coatings built to handle anything your home or business can throw at it. And from garages to commercial spaces, Rack, R-A-K, Custom Coatings delivers tough, beautiful finishes that last. Where quality meets craftsmanship, you can reach them at 636-398-5040. If you have a home and you have a garage and the home is beautiful, but the garage is a mess, when you open it up, you got the funky floors with the oil stains all over it. The kids' equipment for their sports is all over the place, and it just looks a wreck. Clean that garage out. Get yourself a custom coating floor. It's not expensive either, but it really does change the beauty of your home, especially if you're going to stay there for a long time and you just like when the garage door opens, everything looks clean and pristine. Or if you're trying to sell the house, it's just an added benefit that doesn't cost very much, that will give it great curb appeal. And of course, if you have any kind of business where you're doing industrial flooring, always think Rack Custom Coatings, rackcustomcoatings.com, 636-398-5040. Again, been around since 2001. Let me do Rocket.
Let's do it.
RocketCareers.com. My good friends Mitch and Brian over at RocketCareers.com. Now, this is a national business, so this is from coast to coast. If you are out of work, if you hate your job, if you can't take it for another second, maybe you're sitting in a cubicle right now going, Rob, keep me entertained for as long as you can because I'm about to jump out the window. I don't know if I can sit in this cubicle much longer. I have to find a new life. Find it by launching a new career and let Rocket, ROCKIT careers.com help you. And again, if you're a small to medium-sized business and you don't have an HR department, or the HR department is not getting the right talent before you so that you can improve your business, they do talent recruiting. They bring in job seekers. They do outplacement services. It is a one-stop shop. It can take over your human resources for you and get you the right candidates for the right positions in your business. I think most small business owners know that it is very tough to find good employees nowadays. These guys will put good employees, and it doesn't matter what. You could be a nurse, you could be a doctor, you could be an attorney, you could be a blue-collar worker, you could be an IT worker. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you got going on, if you want to launch a new career, get into a new gig, always think rocketcareers.com, ROCKIT careers.com, 636-778-2419, 636-778-2419. And then finally, I can't forget about Helen. She's going to be on the show this week, I believe. I'm going to have Helen back on the show. Helen's one of my favorites because I love what she did. I like people that sacrifice money. We did it, Isaiah. You and I both did it. And we don't get any credit for it. Everybody thinks you're doing something for nefarious reasons. I do understand it. I get that way too. So I can't get mad at people because I'm just as
that's I think what anyone thinks about anyone in media right now.
Yeah, I get it. I do. I just promise you. I don't know what else to say because nobody believes you when you promise anyway. But we're doing this for the right reasons. We're trying to get information out to people. We're trying to bridge the divide between the right and the left. We're trying to have real conversations. We understand that we disagree with other people, but if we don't talk to them and we demonize them, we end up in a situation where nobody's happy. Nobody's happy. You can't have any harmony in your life, right? AdvancedWellnessMed.com. The reason I love Helen is she got out of the hospital game. She's her own person. She does it the way she feels is best for her patients. As she likes to say, we assist the divine healer. And if you're looking at her on the screen, she's got the big cross on. She's a very spiritual woman. She says, Rob, feel, think, look better, and you'll live longer. The earliest cancer detection blood test in the business. Cancer control, this is what she offers you. She also has symptom reversal for Alzheimer and dementia. Anybody that's had that in their family know how important it is. If you can reverse those symptoms, get a hold of Dr. Helen Gelhot at Advanced Wellness MED, advanced with a D, advancedwellnessmed.com. 314-576-0094. And she also does pre-screenings for heart attacks and strokes. Just a terrific service for people. And she does it her way, the right way, not the money way, the right way to create the best care for her patients who she loves. Advanced Wellness, MED.com, 314-576-0094. All right, Isaiah. I want to play these because I want to get, you like to talk to people. So I want to make sure I get this thing going. There we go.
Connection.
I don't know what it is. So all right, let's start with Chuck Baldwin, because somebody that listened sent this to me. Let me read The Dude. Can I read The Dude? You know what movie The Dude is from? Do you know the movie The Dude?
Oh, yeah. The Dude.
What's the name of the movie? No,
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I can see it. You know what I mean? You know when you can see something, but you're like, wait, what?
I love that movie. I love Jesus when they're bowling. The guy named Jesus. I don't know if you've ever seen that scene. It's hilarious. All right. The Dude says, Trump knows he's done. He will pass the torch to Massey after he is elected president next election. If he does it before, it will do more damage than good. Okay, dude. I've heard that philosophy as well. I've heard that philosophy too. Not crazy to think, things are possible when you're playing 5D chess, Isaiah. We all know this. All right. Chuck Baldwin. So one of the listeners sent this to me. And now this, I'm going to give you different pastors' positions on what's going on in the world, if you will. Okay. So this guy's name is Chuck Baldwin. Listen to what he has to say about Israel. Check it out. The Big Lebowski, by the way.
Yes. Big Lebowski. I found that. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the Big Lebowski. How could I forget?
For decades, especially since the administration of G.W. Bush, that Israel has exercised great power and influence over members of Congress and U.S. presidents. But now with Thomas Massey, whatever mask existed of this treasonous subterfuge of American democracy by the state of Israel and its allies in Washington is now ripped away. Now, the American people plainly, clearly, and unmistakably see that their government in Washington, D.C. is totally and thoroughly owned by a foreign power. It is clear that the Republican Party is owned by a foreign power. It is clear that the mainstream media is owned by a foreign power. It is clear that most evangelical pastors and churches are owned by a foreign power. It is clear that the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is owned by a foreign power. And that foreign power is the Zionist state of Israel.
All right. That's one position. Now let's go to Pastor Hagee. Now this guy, this bloated character here, he looks like every nefarious pastor,
Southern Baptist,
ever played a role on television. It goes back to just Jimmy Swaggart with him crying and
have you ever heard this before?
What's that?
That, and I don't know if I hold true to this, but I would say it's a good litmus test. It's hard for me to listen to a pastor that's extremely overweight because that tells me that they have no self-control.
All right.
And so that's something people say that a lot.
What if it's a medical condition?
That's why I said I don't know if I necessarily hold true 100% to it, but it's
you like a fit pastor.
Not necessarily even fit, just someone who's not 300 pounds, 200, that's
Trump says gluttony is a sin. One of our listeners, gluttony is a sin.
What I'm saying. It is a sin. That's what my point is that, the fruit
one of the seven deadlies.
Yeah. With the fruit of the spirits, it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control.
I think this guy right here, Pastor Hagee, is an absolute unadulterated charlatan. That's my take on it. So I'm going to agree with you on this. I don't know if it's because he's eating too many cookies, which I'm going to get to as soon as I get out of here. And by the way, the only cookie they should ever make is chocolate chip. It's the only one that's needed. All the other cookies are a waste of time. It's chocolate chip and be done with it.
Fresh made cookies in my microwave right now that I made last night.
When I'm king, and I will be king at some point, Isaiah, we're going to outlaw other cookies. Every cookie that will be made in America moving forward will be chocolate chip cookies.
It's the American cookie.
The American cookie. Thank you very much. Here is Pastor Hagee, after mowing down some cookies, talking about what I wanted to show you with this and the Pastor Hagee one is how they use, when I say charlatan, it is the mastery of propaganda. It is the mastery of how you word things. It is the tying of sentences together to trick the mind. And when you're aware of it, you start to look for it more. I look for it with all of these people, and boy, do I see it. I mean, you can see these people are absolute devilish charlatans. Still illegal to have an opinion, Isaiah?
So
That's my opinion.
far, I mean,
It's legal to have an opinion,
people are
that's my
getting the police visiting them for talking about Israel online. So we'll see how long it lasts.
That's right. Did you see that clip, by the way?
Yeah.
Where the guy in Illinois, where he got visited by the police, he got arrested.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he got arrested. All right, Pastor Hagee, clip number 19. Check it out.
America is bewitched with Satanism and witchcraft. There's a revival of witchcraft sweeping this nation right now. We are a nation of drive-by shootings, sex trafficking, child abuse, anti-Semitism, and Jew hatred flows in this country, especially out of our universities. It's time for this nation, as a Bible-believing Christian nation, stands up and supports the Jewish people and shuts down every form of anti-Semitism.
Okay, can I show you how he did it? Can we play it one more time? So now that I explain what he's doing? Let's talk about the language that he uses, okay? And the clip that's chosen, right? Because he's like us. You know, we're going to take clips. You know, we got to, and by the way, if we could get some donations for that, that'd be wonderful. We need donations for this guy. It's going to be about, when it's all said and done, I think it's going to cost us about $1,500 a month.
To start, yeah. Let's paint the picture for people too, right? Because we have the base layer that we're going to build out with the website and with clipping, but we want to help level up the production with better graphics and things like that as well, that he's going to be able to help us out in the future. And so this 1,500,
and he's going to clip 3 to 5 clips. Clips is where the action's at. That's when the advertisers really get their money's worth. That's when we get our message spread. Yes. I'm told by everybody that's in my life, all the way back to when I first started in radio, that I'm a clip machine. So for 30, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, you know, I get on my tirades and I get on my soapbox, and I'm able to knock out a very crisp 2-minute clip. And once we start popping those all over social media, then people are going to gravitate toward what they hear or whether they like it or not. So we need him for those clips because he can start to clip those. Right now, we have to use it pretty much through AI generation, and they just pick whatever clip randomly that they like. When we pick the clips that we want, when we're trying to sell a message and we're trying to get it out there, that's what the new person that we were just hired. Did we hire him already? I think we hired him, right? Is that a done deal?
Yeah, I guess we need to get him to send us an invoice, probably.
Yeah.
He's getting us a mock-up for a website tomorrow, guys. So things are moving fast. Soon we will have the RobbCarterShow.com up. It'll be very exciting.
And then what I think we got to do with that, just so you know, the people that are in early can kind of monitor what we're doing. I really think we should take one maybe in Steelville, because the radio station that I was at with Real Talk, they had a big audience in Steelville, Rolla, Franklin County, right? That area. That's where we had a very loyal listening audience. Mm-hmm. And just put billboards up that say the RobbCarterShow.com, because if Moe's Pizza is saying that people come in every day asking where we went, that might be a good place to say, hey, the RobbCarterShow.com, and just drive people to us, especially from Missouri, right? The Missouri audience. Yeah. So anyway, let me get back to Hagee, right? Because we do need donation. Where would they send it to, Isaiah? How do they send donations to us?
Yeah, there's a link right now that's pinned in our comments on Rumble and YouTube. You can go there on Rumble and YouTube, and it's just right there in the live chat. It's pinned. It's also in the description of any video. If you scroll down, you can see the coffee link right there. It'll just let you donate through PayPal. Very easy. You can use your debit card. You know, I don't know. Where could they send a check if they wanted to write a check?
We'll post that on the website when we have it up and running.
Okay, cool.
Okay, because I want to get that probably to a PO box, I'm guessing.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
But the donations for that would be wonderful, to be honest with you, because it's gonna get tight with money. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we only bring in, you know, I was excited for the money and the donations that we brought in originally. We'll burn through that money by the end of June, as far as just what it takes to keep this baby.
We're about to go to Washington, D.C., so it's like when we buy flights, when we buy gas, when we buy food,
plane tickets, hotel room.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
It gets pricey fast, and it's for 2 people. It's not just for one.
Yep.
Then we have to get the microphone going. We got all kinds of stuff that we still have to purchase. But if somebody could help us with the video editing, that would be really, 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 really nice. Anyway, I hate to beg, but
yes,
ain't too proud to beg.
No,
sweet darling, you don't know that song, do you? Please don't leave me, girl.
If we don't get money from you guys, then when someone comes along like Qatar or Saudi Arabia and they say, hey, we want to give you guys $1 million, then we're just going to have to sell out. So if you don't want us to sell out, I'm joking, but
Plan B.
I hope-
Plan B is to sell out. Yeah.
I know. I hope they can. You and I are so sarcastic.
Where is AIPAC when you need them? Good Lord.
I know. Yeah,
You know
we
what I mean?
need you guys. We need that money. We need $7,000 for our posts.
All we do is praise Israel. Again, I praise Israel for what they're doing. I'm not mad at Israel, right? I'm not mad. In America, I'm not happy with the slaughter of the Gaza Strip. I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with bombing Christians in Lebanon. But as it applies to America,
Did you
they
see
can get
the
puppets in
Crusader
America to-
Castle this weekend that just got bombed by Israel?
Yeah.
Yep. In Jerusalem, that was pretty crazy. And now they have the Israeli flag flying because they say they took it back and conquered it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's real
Now,
nice.
before we go back to the clip, just to put in context of who we're talking about, do you know what Christians United for Israel is?
Is that who Hagee is?
That's an organization. So
No.
this is a American evangelical organization that supports Israel. So it's right here, the statement purpose is to provide a national association through which every pro-Israel church, parachurch, organization, ministry, or individual in America can speak and with one voice in support of Israel in matters related to biblical issues. Christian Zionist group.
So it's Christian Zionism.
Right there, national chairman, Pastor Hagee.
Johnny Hagee. So that's what he's all
Yeah.
about. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny
I wonder
Hagee.
if he has any, anything monetary.
You think, Isaiah, you think he's making a little bit of money on the deal? I'm going to guess that he is, and that he's buying chocolate Kringle cookies. Somebody said, I don't know about cookies because there's something called chocolate Kringles. I don't know what that is, but there's nothing better than chocolate chip. I refuse to believe it. Anyway, let's do Pastor Hagee. Clip number 19. Listen to the two main things that he says, okay? And how he conflates these two in the minds of unsuspecting people who will hear these things. He's going to talk about trafficking of children, just trafficking of people, and then anti-Semitism right there together. So in your mind, you're going, oh, I hate this. I hear about all this child trafficking, and then boom, anti-Semitism right on top of it. This is how charlatans mix language and put terrible things into the same sentence. So in your subconscious mind, you conflate them together. Pastor and propagandist Hagee, go.
America is bewitched with Satanism and witchcraft. There's a revival of witchcraft sweeping this nation right now. We are a nation of drive-by shootings, sex trafficking, child abuse, anti-Semitism, and Jew hatred flows in this country, especially out of our universities. It's time for this nation, as a Bible-believing Christian nation, stands up and supports the Jewish people and shuts down every form of anti-Semitism.
Shuts down every form of anti-Semitism.
So let me get this right. Criticizing Israel, which is anti-Semitism now, right? That is Satanism, is what he just said right there at the beginning?
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
And if you have a dual citizenship and you have more respect for Israel than you do your home country, that's anti-Semitic. Donald Trump said that about Miriam Adelson in Israel. I know. It's funny, right? But that is what it says. The IHRA definition of anti-Semitism lists that as one of their anti-Semitic tropes, if you will, is to notice anything would make you anti-Semitic. To notice anything.
Yep.
All right. Can I get to? I'm gonna do one more. I'll leave it here. Listen. There's something very strange going on with the United States and Israel. What it is, I think I know. A lot of people believe that he's exposing it. You know, the Q thing, Isaiah. Q said, save Israel for last. Are you aware of that?
I did not.
So people who follow Q, and I never did.
I've heard that phrase. I didn't know it came from Q.
It came from Q, save Israel for last. If you're a Q believer, then I guess this is all starting to make sense in your mind, right? Because they're putting the blocks in place, and now all of a sudden we're to Israel, and it goes, okay, now he's showing us Israel, and this is the deal. If you're somebody who believes that Q is a front to make you think that you're on the inside skinny with everything as they're actually doing it, then you're a little bit more on my tip. I'm a little bit more of that angle, Isaiah. I'm a little bit more of the five. I really do think in the 5D chess operation, right? So if you're a Q believer, you are looking at this going, okay, here's what Q said. He got that right. Here's what he got that right. You got that right. Look at Q is just knocking it out. My buddy Max told me at the very beginning, smartest person I've ever met in my life. He said, Rob, Q is a sham. It was used by the Chinese. It was used by the Bolsheviks. It's the same scam here. What they do is they create a scenario where their leader is doing everything behind the scenes. There's a military operation going on. Everything's going to work out just fine. Everything is, don't believe your lying eyes because it's bigger than you understand. And they paint and sell you on building blocks to make you believe that it's true. He said the only reason they do it, the primary reason that things like Q are important is because what it does is it satisfies the population. It satisfies the patriots. It makes the patriots sit on their hands thinking that the government is going to fix the problem for them, and they will not get involved in their government because they believe there's a secret thing going on behind the scenes, and they can just go to work every day and kind of watch it with amusement because they are on the inside secret of what's going on behind the scenes. And he did that, by the way, Isaiah, sitting on his farm. He's a DOD contractor who I went to high school with, brilliant guy. I was sitting on his farm on his porch at the top of his lungs screaming at me to make sure that I understood that Q was a psyop. The only purpose of Q was to make sure that American citizens never engaged because they believed that a bigger operation was at play by our government and by Donald Trump.
I'll just say this. The
Sure or not, I don't know. But
CIA's investment arm is called InQtel.
Right?
InQ with a Q. Nothing. It's not, spelled out CUE or anything like that. InQtel.
Maybe that's a little secret we need to get out there to everybody. There's the little breadcrumbs for Q right there. You know when I lost track of Q? Who was the first attorney general that Donald Trump had? Jeff Sessions. Was it Jeff Sessions was the first attorney general?
I'm not sure. In 2016, you're saying?
Yeah, it was. I think it was Jeff Sessions. And Jeff from Alabama. He's a senator from Alabama. Jeff Sessions, according to Q at the time, because at that time I had somebody that was telling me all the Q drops. And at that time, Jeff Sessions was going to be the good guy. Jeff Sessions was going to be the guy that come out of who rising like the Phoenix, and he was going to be the put everybody in jail because he was running the DOJ, and it was all Jeff Sessions, baby. Jeff Sessions was coming, and nobody knows if Jeff Sessions is alive anymore. So Q didn't get that right. So if Q's organized everything behind the scenes, he got one little thing wrong right from the very beginning, and that was Jeff Sessions. I'm just saying. All right, can I get a little Mark Levin in?
Please. I was hoping this is where you were going.
Mark Levin. And then we'll leave away from Israel and the United States. I'm going to follow the story. I just want this clipped so that we have it forever. I believe that this will not get passed this year. I think Thomas Massie and people aligned with Thomas Massie, and I think the entire country is moving against this Israeli-U.S. fusion, if you will. And I think there'll be too much heat. Everybody will see it, and they'll move on with it. And then when the next Congress comes in without Thomas Massie, they're going to slip it into something. You'll be governed by it. Our militaries will be integrated, and you're not even going to know anything about it. That's what I believe will happen. I'll tell you, but Sean Hannity's not going to tell you. Sean Hannity is not going to do a special on the Israeli-U.S. alliance, Isaiah. Jesse Waters is not going to do a fusion segment of Israel and the United States military. Is not going to. Yeah. Laura Ingraham, Isaiah, is not going to do a full show on the integration of the U.S.
Wait, not even Laura Trump?
Not even Laura Trump's going to do it. They're not going to do it. This is my guess. I'm just guessing, but this is where I'm coming from. Mark Levin, who is definitely Israel first, he again is out selling that we must have this war, that Donald Trump is the greatest person of all time, that he can't leave too early. If the war takes 100 years, the war just has to take 100 years, according to Mark Levin. Let's get a little Mark Levin just to give it, so we're hanging on to both sides of the argument. Here is Israel first, total propagandist whore, Mark Levin. Go.
Will stake my reputation here and now on the fact that they will continue to pursue nuclear weapons, ICBMs, they can reach our country, fund terrorist organizations, and never surrender the revolution to the very people and governments they seek to destroy. I know this is hard to hear. I know this is unpleasant. I know I may be in a minority today. I know I will be called a warmonger. I will be called an Israel firster.
And an
I will
idiot.
be called a unpatriotic Jew. I've been called a lot. My faith is under attack. I get it. But that's the way it goes. The fact is that the Iranian regime wants to destroy our country, our civilization, our way of life, indeed our lives.
As he reads
they wouldn't give it a second thought. As the president has said, if they had gotten a nuclear weapon, they would have used it against us. He's 100% right.
Nonsense.
Every generation has a responsibility to the next generation. and generations thereafter. This is our generation's responsibility to our children and our grandchildren and our country and to civilization. We've come so far, much further than any president has been willing to go, to confront this gravest of threats. Despite all the opposition he has faced, all the political attacks, the midterm elections, the price of a gallon of gasoline, this president, and only this president, has brought us, the free world, the civilized world, much of which is dragging and kicking or sitting on the sidelines. He's brought us to the point where we truly have the capacity to put this to an end. But do we, the people of the United States, do we, the people of the free world, do we have the will to see this through? According to the polls, we don't. What will our generation do? As past generations ensured that we would live in a free, secure, and open society, and they sacrificed far more than most of us, and a whole lot more than a temporary increase in the price of a gallon of gasoline.
Mark Levin, everybody. He just is loathsome.
Yeah.
He's very difficult for me to love. God tells me to love everybody. He's the hard one.
I know I'm going to be a warmonger. I know they're going to say I'm Israel first.
An unpatriotic Jew. And he's reading it.
Yeah, I know.
That's the beauty of it. He's reading the script. He's looking down. He's reading the entire thing.
Yes.
You know, I saw this on here. I was listening to the morning show with Dan and Drew this morning, my old radio station. And I don't know how I was there as long as I was, the more I hear it. You know, when I hear it from the outside without me in it, I do wonder how they allowed me on the air that long. I'm surprised they didn't kick me off much sooner, because my contract ended after the first year. We never re-upped it, but it's just amazing I was there that long. The love for Donald Trump and the hatred for Democrats and the love for Donald Trump it's all that the entire operation sees.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. I mean, I have no problem with it. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm just talking about my fit in there. I just don't see the world through that lens. And I'm just thinking, man, I must have been a real drag for the station. You had 21 hours of the same thing, and then me coming in going, no. Think for yourself. It's not about the parties. It's not about the parties. Donald Trump is not your hero necessarily. Make sure that you do your own homework. Make sure you do your own advocating. Make sure that you get involved in your business. And they're like, Donald Trump is the greatest. People don't want to go to the 250th anniversary. Well, these people are crazy. I'm like, but they're not crazy. They just don't want it to turn into a Trump rally because they might not be behind his policies. That's all.
Yeah, we want to. People who don't necessarily support Trump's policies also want to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America.
I think they think he's going to turn it into a Trump rally, though. I think that's what they're worried about.
Well, that's what he already said he wanted to do that.
Right. But I mean, I think that's why I think that's why they backed out. They didn't want to be a part. They wanted to be a part of the celebration.
Yeah.
They didn't want to be a part of a Trump rally because
Mm-hmm.
they might not agree with everything that Trump is doing, and they don't want to be labeled as such with their audience as though they were supporting Donald Trump policies.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let's roll on to the 250th anniversary. So did you see that? Well, actually, one more on Israel before I get to that, and then we'll go into the 250th anniversary. Let's do Marco Rubio. I love this so much.
Israel.
All right. Clip number 4 is Marco Rubio. Little tiny hands, Marco Rubio. Did you see, by the way, Isaiah, on social media over the weekend where somebody put a clip together of all the people in Trump's administration and what they said about him in 2016?
No, but I already know.
Oh,
what
it
you're
is
saying
so
about him.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Con artist,
Yeah.
one after another. Rubio, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth,
Vance.
There's like 5 or 6 of them, and it's just that's what they don't like him personally. They think he's a terrible person. On and on and on about what a wretched man that he is, and now they're all in his cabinet saying he's the greatest president of all time. You can't make it up. It is amazing.
Thank you for this job.
Thank you for this job. I appreciate it very much. All right, Marco Rubio. You know, because Marco Rubio somehow within the Republican Party is now the darling. It's who do you like better? This is what the Republicans do. Who do you like better, Vance or Rubio? They're so fantastic. Do you like Vance better or is it Rubio? Which one do you guys like better? I think it's Vance. No, I think it's Rubio. You think it's Tiny Hands? I think it's Tiny Hands. I think it's Vance. You think it's Palantir?
Yeah, he had military experience.
I think it's Palantir Vance. Don't you think Palantir Vance is great? I think he's so great, but I really love Marco Rubio. I mean, I love war all over the world. It's so fantastic. I mean, just think if Rubio's president, we'd go to war with everybody. It'd be great. America versus the world. It'd be so fantastic. Look at Marco Rubio go. He's so great. What is he doing that is so fantastic that has the Republicans all worked up? Because I do hear it all the time in Republican circles. It's JD Vance or Marco Rubio, and they just love these guys. And I don't even know what they've done that's even remotely significant. Anything other than start a war. What have they done that is so great?
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't understand that. What are they talking about?
They're doing their job. They've done
nothing.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, that's what I'm saying is like they're not doing anything outrageous. They're just, oh, I'm going to visit a country. Okay, hey, I'm here. Hi.
Exactly. I think it's statements. I think they make statements that those people like, and they think statements are all you need. They think we're in a movie and they like the character that they're playing.
Yeah, that's what I mean by their job, right? That their job is to be on the television and say, hey, don't you guys know how great President Trump is?
Look at this tie. I got a great tie on.
Yeah.
Marco Rubio. I don't know what to make of Marco Rubio. I don't dislike him. I don't like him. I just know that I see no talent there necessarily. So I don't necessarily see the talent. I see it with Vance. I do see a talent with Vance. Vance is slick. Vance is one of those guys where no matter what the argument is, and so is Ramaswamy, by the way. Those two guys are really good. When you attack them with any bit of information, they can smooth it over, make you feel good about yourself and your argument, but then counter it, which I think is a great politician. So there's talent.
He did a good job at the TPUSA event,
right? Like,
taking the questions. Just
that's
that he didn't know. It's not like they knew the questions beforehand,
right?
You know,
not rehearsed or anything. So there's talent there. I give them. I don't necessarily agree with them, but they're talented. Rubio, I don't see it. Rubio just doesn't seem talented to me. I don't understand what the appeal is. None of it makes any sense. But here he is. Now, this is great because we have won the war with Iran, I think at last count 13 times.
Yep.
Right. I think we've won the war 13 times, and now we're trying to win it for the 14th time. And I think that Donald Trump has reached a deal with Iran 7 times, if I'm not mistaken. So we've reached a deal 7 times, and then the deal fell apart, and we've won the war, I think 14 times. I think it's 14 times. 14 times we've won the war, but then the war continued on. I don't think you can win a war.
Our greatest ally just ignored the ceasefire. And
they didn't want the ceasefire. Yeah, so that was the end of that. So now we're back in war. So we've won the war 14 times. It's either 13 or 14. I lose count. We've won the war 13 or 14 times, and he has got a deal on the table for the 7th or 8th time, whatever it is. Anybody still believing this needs to have their head examined. At some point in your life, you have to recognize that this is just propaganda and rhetoric, and the war is going to go on until the war stops. It's probably going to go on forever because Iran is not dealing with the American government. That's what's happening. They don't want to deal with the American government. Let me tell you why. You know why they don't want to deal with the American government? This is going to be crazy to people. They don't trust it. Isn't that nuts? They don't trust the American government, right? They watch what happened to Gaddafi. They watch what happened to Saddam Hussein, and they're like, nah, I don't know if I want to play ball with you guys. And I'm not real sure. You know when you dropped those bombs and killed like 50 of our leaders, that made us skeptical of you. That made us not think that maybe you're not looking out for our best interests. We're just a little skeptical of America when they bombed our bridges and our people and our leadership, and we're just tiny bit skeptical.
I dare you be skeptical.
I dare you be skeptical. Donald Trump's making a deal. We're going to bomb you into smithereens, and then we're going to make a great deal. And they said, we're not making a deal. We're just not making a deal. They've said that
destroy Iran, and then we're going to use your taxpayer dollars to rebuild it.
Yes, we're going to drop military bombs on Iran, and then we're going to send $300 billion into Iran to fix the damage that we caused, and we're going to take it from the American citizens who we didn't want to be in the war in the first place. Yes.
Greatest president ever.
Greatest president ever. Bomb it to rebuild it with American dollars as everybody's paying $5 for gas and can't afford food. It's going to be great. $40 trillion in debt. More of it. Woo-hoo. Let's get some more going.
We're just trying to learn from Israel what they do with Gaza. That's they bomb Gaza and now they're rebuilding Gaza, right? So we're gonna bomb Iran and rebuild Iran.
It's the greatest business model of all time. What we do is we make the American people buy military weapons, and then we bomb people in smithereens, and then we take American money and American taxpayer money, and then we rebuild it. And then when we rebuild it, we bomb somebody else with American weapons and American taxpayer money. And then we rebuild it with American taxpayer money. And then we look up and we're $40 trillion in debt and nobody can afford gas or food. And we go, isn't this great? It's capitalism. It's so great.
Mm-hmm. The stock market's at an all-time high. Woo-hoo.
Stock market, it's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's it. Corporate wealth is all that matters, right? All right. Let me get into Rubio. That's right.
Rubio.
Because Rubio now wants the help of the United Nations to open up the Straits of Hormuz. I just love this so much because
I thought we controlled it.
It was so easy. Remember at the beginning, it was just so easy. Remember Dave Rubin? We played him last week. Dave Rubin. If Donald Trump wants the strait open, the strait will be open. I mean, he's Donald. He's king. He's king of the world. If he wants the straits open, he'll open the strait. I'm Dave Rubin, and I know all of the information. And now you have Marco Rubio, Tiny Hands, Secretary of State. I'm sorry, I'm getting wound up today. I apologize. I'm a little sarcastic today. This stuff is so stupid to me. I can't get over it. And then I have to argue with really smart people about it. And I don't get it. They won't argue on the show though.
Yeah.
Continue to ask, argue on the show with me. Have a debate. Doesn't even have to be an argument, a conversation. And I want to understand where you're coming from, because to me, we are in a world of hurt as a country. And just because we're taping it together doesn't mean that the future is bright. It means the future could be a real problem if we don't get involved in our government. Marco Rubio begging for UN help now. Check this out. Number 4, Isaiah.
A real test for the UN, right? As something that functions that can solve global problems. What is the purpose of the UN? The UN was supposed to be a place where you could peacefully resolve global conflict. Right now, you have a country who is unlawfully, criminally, and illegally taking possession of an international waterway and blowing up commercial vessels.
Can you imagine the nerve of this idiot? And I say idiot with all due respect. Okay. he's upset. They aggressively bombed a country that our intelligence agencies said were not building nuclear weapons and had no desire to build nuclear weapons. That's what our intelligence agencies told Marco Rubio and Donald Trump. But we bombed a foreign nation, as Marco Rubio said, because Israel was going to do it. So we had to beat him to it. Right? This is what this guy said. This is what Marco Rubio said. Israel was going to do it. And because they were going to do it, we found out and we had to bomb them first. Our intelligence agencies, I don't know why we're paying $800 billion or $80 billion or whatever we're paying. I think it's $80 billion for the intelligence agencies. If we're not going to listen to them, doesn't even make any sense, does it, Isaiah? But our intelligence agencies said that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon, had no intentions to build a nuclear weapon. We bombed their country. And then Rubio goes, who are these people knocking out our ships and the commercial ships in the Strait of... These people are crazy. I mean, think of the insanity to sell that to people. We bomb a sovereign nation, just like we did Iraq, based on a lie, a flat-out lie, according to our intelligence agencies. And then you have Marco Rubio giving up and giving speeches where he's mad at Iran for blowing up ships in the Strait of Hormuz and calling them murderers. And can you believe this is happening? This is against international law. The same guy that is in favor of bombing a sovereign nation for what? For nothing.
Mm-hmm. And how many schoolgirls did we kill in the bombing?
That doesn't really matter. I mean, it's collateral damage. This happens in war, Isaiah. I mean, just because they bombed it twice shouldn't mean that they did it intentionally, right?
Yeah.
They bombed it once, and all the rescue workers come in and they bomb it again. That's just the way it goes sometimes in war, Isaiah. You have to understand. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, they were girls they don't like girls over there, so we just bomb their girls. We figure it was a nice thing to do. That's the way we look at war nowadays. It's just unbelievable. Okay, continue on with little hands, tiny hands, Marco Rubio.
And putting mines in the water. I don't know if people appreciate like how outrageous this is, how unacceptable it is that any country would fire and try to sink commercial vessels or put mines in the water. Both of these things are illegal. And so we're going to take it to the UN and we're going to...
You imagine? I'm serious. I mean, just the courage to even make that argument is just baffling to me. Yeah. We bombed a sovereign nation without congressional approval, and he's complaining that Iran is fighting back in the straits because that's their only means of survival.
It's the Israeli playbook, Rob. That's what we're doing is we're going to bomb someone and then blame them say, aren't they terrible? Aren't they bad? Look at this.
Just makes you wonder how
they blew up a bomb inside of Jerusalem on the bus and 2 people were injured. That's what we got to pay attention to, right? Okay, now we bombed and we killed 3,000 people over here, but don't pay attention to that.
Slaughtered an entire civilization in Gaza. Yeah. Slaughtered them.
We just killed a bunch of Christians. Don't pay attention to that, but we had 2 injured people.
Lebanon, bombing people into smithereens. Yeah. And we're going to integrate our militaries with them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But, it's all going to... Q says it's all going to work out just fine, so it should be good. Yeah. So Q, I guess if you're following Q at this moment, the plan was to carpet bomb and drop 2,000-pound bombs on the people of Gaza, and then bomb Christians and bomb their Catholic churches, and then bomb southern Lebanon and destroy their churches, then start a war with Iran so that we could finally take out Israel.
Yeah.
Is that the game plan? That's the Q
Greater
game plan?
Israel project.
Seems like there could be a better way, but what do I know? All right.
Yep.
What do I know?
We don't have all the information, Rob.
We don't have all the information.
Yeah.
250th. And is this conservative, by the way? I get now that I'm on this side of things and I'm arguing about the bombing of innocent people, I feel like I'm not a conservative. Is there some rule book written that we bomb foreign countries before they do anything to us? Is that a part of the conservative movement nowadays, Isaiah? I don't know. Maybe it is.
No,
Is that considered conservative now?
I would think that.
Like if we bomb Canada tomorrow
Yeah.
because they said Trump was fat and smelled like mayonnaise, and he bombed Canada, are we supposed to go, listen, you got to be careful what you say? I mean, Canada, they got to get in line. I mean, they've been ripping us off with these tariffs for too long. I mean, we have to. I mean, Montreal. What do we need Montreal for? Let it go. What's the big deal, Rob?
Yeah.
No, well, of course we wouldn't say that. But in Iran, who cares? I mean, they're the enemy and they're demons. So bizarre to me. So crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think it's crazy, Isaiah, and this is why I don't get mad at people. I was that person.
Yes.
I was that person.
Yes.
I was that person. And then I got on my knees and I prayed for the truth and said, put the information before me, God, that you want me to hear. And my whole world started to change. So I give it to God. I give it to God. I got on my knees and started praying for God to put the right people in my life, the right path before me. I said, God, just show me what you want me to know. And then this is you're getting the end result of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm fighting back against evil when it comes to what's going on with Israel. And I don't know that it's Israel and the UK. I don't know if it's just the intelligence age. I don't know what's going on, but what they are doing is evil. E-V-I-L, evil. Evil, 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 evil. That's what it is. What they're doing is evil, and I want no part of it. I want my government to be a part of it. That's my opinion. All right. Let's get to the 250th anniversary. And I don't know if that's conservative or not, but that's my opinion. If I'm changing.
Well, I think that's what I would. I don't know it perfectly, but I think that's what the Monroe Doctrine kind of essentially is about, is to focus on our own issues and not try to intervene in other global problems and focus on what we're doing.
Can we look at this right here? I want to get this done too,
Yeah.
before I move on, because we got 10 minutes. We're going to have Michael Castellero in at 11. I do want to update on that story. I told him I could have the other people that worked with him on. Now, this is a guy that's getting taken down by the SDNY, Southern District of New York. People around me are telling me that it's basically just a mafia organization, the Southern District of New York. And maybe that's why Trump was there. But, they never really did anything to Trump. But this guy's going to prison now for 11 years. Okay. And he basically said it's just a con. They're just conning. They're taking all of my money and they're going to throw me in jail on top of it for I did nothing wrong. And I want to hear his story. So he's got two other employees that were with him. So we'll hear their whole story at 11. But on the screen from Jordan Smengi Lot. All right. He says the game plan is to party with our great friend, Dr. Shiva. So here's what I would like everybody to do. If you are a long time listener of the radio show, the podcast, back to the podcast again, if you can get out to Dr. Shiva to come on the Rob Carter show, let's just fill him up. Because I consider him a friend. He's been on my show many, many times. I think he's been on the show 4 times. And I want to have him on now that I'm on the podcast where I can really talk to him. So if you guys can get Dr. Shiva to come on, it will be one of your favorite interviews. Dr. Shiva is, and now that he can curse, Isaiah, when I was on the radio with him, he couldn't curse. He did. He wasn't supposed to.
You got in trouble for it?
Yeah, he has some choice words. And I got some questions for him too, because things have changed just a little bit since the last time we talked. So I have a lot of questions for him. I'd love to have Dr. Shiva on. So if you're a listener of the show on X, find Dr. Shiva, tell him to come on the Rob Carter show. I'll reach out to him and maybe we can hit him from both angles. There he is. Right there. He is an absolute blast for an interview. The greatest. Look how many followers does he have? 323,000.
Yep.
He says when he puts out, he's got 323,000 followers. He can't get more than a few hundred people to look at his clips when he puts them out now.
Yeah, look at this. 225.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, this is from 17 minutes ago. 200 people. Let's see. It looks like he's promoting something right now. So he's putting out.
And he organizes. He organizes in the States. I got a friend of mine who'll be on the show before too terribly long on Thursday who passed his classes. He does like little classes that you pass. Dr. Shiva does. All right, 250th anniversary. All right, so Martina McBride, she dropped out. I saw her in concert. She was fabulous. She dropped out. Brett Michaels from Poison, he dropped out. The Commodores, I saw the Commodores as well. I saw Lionel Richie at least. He dropped out. Here's what Donald Trump has to say about it. Okay, this is a truth from Donald Trump. I understand the artists are getting the yips having to do with their performance on Wednesday. So I am thinking about bringing the #1 attraction anywhere in the world, the man who gets much larger audiences than Elvis in his prime and does so without a guitar, the man who loves our country more than anyone else, and the man who some say is the greatest president in history, the GOAT, Donald J. Trump, to take the place of these highly paid third-rate artists and give a major speech rallying the country forward like I have done ever since being president. 2 years ago, the United States was dead. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. He puts hottest in quotation marks and all capital letters. I don't know why. I don't want so-called artists that get paid far too much money who aren't happy. I only want to be surrounded by happy people, smart people, successful people, and people that know how to win. So by copy of this truth, I am ordering my representatives to look at the feasibility of doing an America is Back rally on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. Same time, same location, only great patriots invited. It will be a wild and beautiful celebration of America, President Donald J. Trump. And when he says wild, by the way, Isaiah, that's what he said on January 6th.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And he also just said he excludes everyone now because he says only great patriots are invited. So that means that 70% of the country who doesn't approve of him would not be invited, right?
I guess. Well, it's only, I think, 67%.
67. Sorry. 67%. Sorry. He deserves that 3%.
Yeah, and if people don't believe that number is true, then you'd be arguing with somebody who would just look at it and go, okay, wait a minute. The Democrats are about half the country or a little bit more, right, by registration. Yep. They're not voting for him. And then you have the Republican Party split right down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't have that much approval rating. He can't possibly, because he split the Republican Party and the Democrats aren't going to vote for him. Yep. What's left?
The
independents are
34% right now is their approval.
He has the lowest approval rating amongst independents of any president in history, I believe. It's like 23%. It's almost bananas how low his approval ratings are with independents. Crazy. What are you looking up, the numbers?
I was just want to see the not just for independents, but the actual total one. Because since you said that, I was like, no, I wonder what now the total lowest is. And it was Truman in 1952 is 22%. So he's heading there. He's on his way.
He's only at like 23 last I looked. So he's right at it.
30. He's at 34 for total.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Total. What about independents? Can you look up independents?
Yeah. Let's see. Lowest approval for.
Now, what number are you getting? Is that Real Clear Politics or whatever?
Let's see. This is Gallup.
They're all terrible, but close enough.
Yeah, this is what people will trust, though, right? Is the Gallup numbers. Lowest approval rating. See if we can pull this up.
You know what is good about
Donald Trump holds a record for the lowest approval rating among independent voters ever.
Right, in history, right?
26%.
26. It's up a little bit. Last I heard it was 23. Seriously. So he's at 26%. Can you imagine people that don't consider themselves Democrats or Republicans? He's got a 26% approval rating, according to what? Gallup? Is that Gallup?
Yep.
Gallup. Okay. Well, that should tell Donald Trump fans where the midterms would be heading if we don't steal elections, wouldn't it?
Yep. Yes.
Because you split the party, so you're not going to get. I don't care what they say the Republican approval is. I know for a fact I'm right in the middle of it every day. Right. I know so many people that voted for Donald Trump that just are so sickened by what's going on. They can't even imagine that they were a Donald Trump fan to begin with. So, they're not going out and voting for him. And that's a big part of the Republican Party. That's for sure.
I was just reading this morning how Congress is starting to split down the middle themselves in the Republican side of things against him, because essentially, I guess they think he's just going scorched earth and he doesn't care about the midterms, but maybe not in a good way, scorched earth, what we would want him to do. Right. And he is what I've been reading is that he essentially doesn't care about the midterms, but all of Congress cares about the midterms, right? And so he's basically telling them, "Hey, screw you! I don't care what you think. You better care about what I think."
I think it's scripted to begin with. I don't
think
any
34% approval rating.
I think they're going to vote whatever way AIPAC and the big donors tell them, whether Democrats or Republicans,
Well,
whether
that's
they're
the thing is that
now or whether they're new. It's
split
not
down
going
the middle, but all his policies are pushed through.
Yeah. Valvoline
dash
Michael Cosplera. Valvoline Express Care, my good friend Tony Clark. If you are in need of an oil change for anywhere in, he's got multiple different locations. We'll bring those up here in just a minute. But if you are in need of an oil change this weekend, it's Valvoline Express Care. You can go find coupons. You can find their locations on Valvoline-Express Care. I'll pop up his locations. Let's read those out there because you got a couple locations I don't read. Cape Girardeau, Highland, Illinois, Troy, Illinois, Lemay Ferry Road, Warrenton, Missouri, Mid Rivers Mall Drive, St. Peter's Parkway. There it is. Valvoline Express Care. My good friend Tony Clark, as he likes to say, 15 minutes from Bay to on your way. If you don't have that sticker in your window, I just don't know how Isaiah can even stomach you. Isaiah is the worst. Like sometimes I'll give you a pass. Isaiah will never speak to you again if he does not
No.
see that sticker in your window. It is Valvoline Express Care. No appointments, no sales pressure, all Valvoline branded products, and 15 minutes from bay to on your way. No nonsense. Quick, easy, efficient oil changes. Valvoline Express Care. A good friend, Tony Clark. There you go. Valvoline Express Care. Again, if you need coupons or locations, check out Valvoline-expresscare.com. And we have gracehauling.com, gracehauling.com, gracehauling.com. You'll see their dumpsters and cans all over St. Charles County because he does terrific business. Outstanding customer service, competitive pricing. If you are a commercial business, 2, 4, 6, and 8-yard dumpsters established in 1998. And by the way, Jones Water, 1995, they were established. Did I not mention that? I got that right at the top, and I continue to forget that. JonesWater.com, 1995. Grace Hauling, 1998. ECS Roofing's been in business for 30 years. We get the good guys. It's really kind of awesome. But gracehauling.com, gracehauling.com, gracehauling.com. Gary, what do you want me to say about your business? He says, but for the grace of God, I would not have such a thriving business. Gracehauling.com, gracehauling.com, gracehauling.com. Residential customers, trash, recyclables, yard waste, and bulk pickups. Gracehauling.com. ECS Roofing, because I hear the weather's bad in Missouri. Is it getting ready to get funky?
Well, it just got better this morning, but I woke up around 5:30 this morning to a huge thunderstorm happening.
Bombs away.
First thing I thought of, Rob, was ECS Roofing. I'm not joking.
He's out there doing the hail dance. ECS Roofing and Exteriors. Again, if you are in need of any kind of contracting work, ECS Roofing is our Rob Carter Show contractor for roofing, siding, decks, gutters, garage doors, custom exterior metal, residential, commercial, new construction, storm damage, free license inspections, and the most important thing is he likes to tell me, licensed independent adjuster. He says the door knocking game is you have the roofing companies, they knock on your door, they say they see something on your roof, they're going to work with the insurance companies to get you a new roof. They have no idea whether that's true or not. They just want to get you into their system. He explained that entire game to me. He says, I do know what's going on. You call me out to your house, I'll give you a free inspection. If you need a new roof and if the insurance is going to work with you, I'll know it right away. I'll be upfront and honest with you. I've been at this for 30 years. I used to build homes. I know the game. My man, Larry Evans, 314-486-3567. And you can also look him up on Facebook. So just look up ECS Roofing and Exteriors on Facebook. ECS Roofing. Here's the number, 314-486-3567. Whether you or somebody you know, if they need a roof, always think ECS Roofing. Check them out. They'll treat you right. ECS Roofing. Larry Evans, ECS Roofing and Exteriors. And that's good for now. That's good. Let's bring in Michael Castellero. Who do we got there? We got Michael Castellero, Francine Lanea, and Brian Martinson. This is all from the Southern.
Like Francine hasn't joined yet, but we do have Brian and Mike ready.
Let's bring them on. If Francine pops on, we'll pop her on.
All right, let's get them all in here.
There they are. What's going on, gentlemen?
How are you, Rob?
Good.
Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Doing good.
I wanted to get your story in because I think Michael wanted more voices to say, hey, listen, this is what we experienced. This is what we're going through. I cannot, well, I should say this. I cover 4 stories right now where people are, the government is coming after them. 3 of them, or 4, actually it's 5 of them, 4 in Missouri and Michael, where people are getting put into prison by what I would call nefarious court decisions, what look to be setups to me. And they're so overwhelming. It's unbelievable. Michael, we got somebody in Missouri who was an independent journalist. His name's Jeff Winehouse. Jeff Winehouse, they used a search warrant because they said they smelled marijuana at his front door, went in and took his phones and his computers. When he went to get his phones and computers back, they shot him 4 times, twice in the chest, twice in the forehead, charged him with attacking the police officers. You know what they didn't know? He filmed the whole thing. He's in prison for 30 years. He filmed his own execution, and they still put him in prison.
Wow.
And he can't get out. This is the kind of world we got going on.
That's probably inadmissible with court, like all the people we made money for.
It's baffling because everybody in the town where it happened now knows the story, and it's went all the way up to the Supreme Court in Missouri. Nobody will touch it. Nobody will do anything for him because it was the highway patrol in Missouri, and I guess they just don't want to get in on the bad side of the highway patrol. It's just unbelievable. But tell me a little bit about.
I feel like we're in an upside world. You know, the people that belong in jail that are raping, killing, and undocumented people. they're all getting out. They're all getting let off. The judges are letting them off, and they're going after people like us. And
Yeah, the people that are doing the right thing, playing by their rules, they just come after you, and then they use the media and the courts to do whatever they want to you, apparently. So,
if
where do
you
you
try
want
to
to
make
start?
sense of it, you can't. So
You can't. It's frustrating though. If you're a
Yeah.
person who is a fan of justice and the American dream and a blind justice in this country, I tell my audience all the time, I think that is over. I think you might get it, you might get lucky, but if you're in the political world or you're messing with the wrong people, these things seem to be very organized against taxpayers and good old-fashioned American citizens. Where do you want to start, Michael?
Go ahead, Brian.
Brian, tell me what you experienced, and let me just fill the audience in. Michael, you've been on the show a couple times, but if people haven't seen you before, you were an advisor, a financial advisor, and you weren't. What would you call it? How would you describe it?
We were a private pre-IPO private equity fund.
A private equity fund. Okay.
Correct.
And they basically relabeled your business and put you in a different category, which made what you were doing illegal, but you weren't illegal at all. You were able to prove it. And the Southern District of New York is trying to put Michael in prison now for 11 years, 10 for the crime and 1 for the crime of talking about it. Is that the way I understand it?
And Brian's on the hook for 10 also.
Yeah. I'm
Brian on the
10
business
years and
committee.
Mike is 11.
Really?
Yes.
So what about the other lady who's supposed to join us, Francine? Is she in the same boat?
Fran got 8 years.
And she got 8 years. All right. Tell me from your perspective, how'd this all go down, and just just lay it out for everybody if you're hearing it for the first time.
Well, I'll start out. We were a pre-IPO fund. So what we did was we bought shares of private companies from insiders. We put them into the fund, and then we allowed insiders, normal individual investors, to invest in these companies. So, to give examples, we had Airbnb, we had Palantir, SoFi, SpaceX, just to name a few. But we had the biggest names that were about to come public that we were buying shares from insiders and then allowing individual investors to buy into those shares.
Which, as I understand, it's perfectly legal.
Oh, perfectly legal. Nothing wrong with it.
And where did they say that you went off the rails?
Well, if we start with the SEC, they accused us of being a Ponzi-like scheme and stealing stock from people. Okay, that was determined to obviously be incorrect. So we actually got indicted, and the indictment the thing that killed us that they put in there was an investment advisory firm, which we were not. We were not an investment advisory. The difference between an investment advisory and a private fund like we were, you just have different rules and different laws that you have to follow by.
They held you to the other standard, though, right? Is that what happened?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's many ways to show, without even believing me, that we were not an investment advisor. The biggest proof is the SEC guy, Steve DiBella, that took the stand. He admitted on the stand that we were an exempt reporting advisor. Number 2 is we got a lot of requests from the SEC, and they were all voluntary. So if we were an investment advisor, it wouldn't have been voluntary. Every request that they sent us would have been mandatory to answer every one of their questions. We did everything anyway. We sent them everything that they wanted on a voluntary basis. And every letter, it specified that this was voluntary. So if we were indeed an investment advisory firm, it would not have been voluntary.
Did you get a lot of pushback from people you did business with? I think I was talking to Michael. He said there were no complaints of any. I'm sure there's got to be. There's probably something somewhere along the way, but there's no overwhelming. Hey, you guys are ripping us off. This is a Ponzi scheme. You're taking our money. That kind of thing. You didn't get any of that, did you?
No, in fact, we got a lot of love letters. Our clients loved us. Think about it this way: we bought 6.5 million shares of Palantir.
Woo.
Our price to our clients was between 6 and 9. The SEC averaged it out to our average price to customers was $8. So if you do 6.5 million, even at what it's trading at today, we raised roughly $50 million into the company. And today, I just did the math on it. It's $1.04 billion. So that means that the clients that invested just in Palantir alone, forget about Airbnb and SpaceX and all the other ones, we're up over $1 billion.
And some people still have their shares.
What is Palantir at right now?
160.
And your customers bought it for eight
On average, 8, as low as 6 and as high as 9.
And you were able to buy these as IPOs from people that were in those. Is that how it worked?
No, so what we do is years before the company comes public, we started about 3 years, 4 years, about 3 years before the company came public, and we had insiders that were willing to sell the fund shares.
Gotcha.
Now, they don't do this to individual people because companies like Palantir, you're only allowed to have, I think it's 500 investors before you're pretty much forced to go public. So what they do is they like to sell to funds like ours. They call it a special purpose vehicle, an SPV, because we can keep buying shares on the straight path and we only count as one investor. So we probably did 40 transactions with Palantir insiders and it only counts as one investor.
Which is great for them.
So we had approximately 1,500 investors alone in Palantir out of the 2,400. And all those investors that came in, we all counted as one investor. So the company would never allow 1,500 transfers to individual people to go through. But being an SPV like we were able to purchase those shares as an entity and then have all the investors come in and count as one person.
Brian, Mike, why do you think they came after you? What is the purpose for coming? Is it just simply to steal your money?
Well, if I could jump in on this one also. I mean, there's a couple of theories that I have, but the biggest one is very simple. We got into the discovery phase with the SEC, and our attorneys had found documents that the SEC and the Department of Justice were talking years before. In fact, the SEC met with our attorneys twice and lied to them. They told them that they were not speaking to the DOJ. So we found documents that they were before that time. So it came down to that's where the criminal part came in anyway. I think it was to hide the communications between the SEC and the Department of Justice. Now, if you want to go further back, I don't know how much time we have here.
You're okay. We're good. I'm curious about this story because I've heard it 3 times now.
Yeah.
This is the third time of hearing similar stories.
So the reason why I think the whole secondary market and a lot of funds, because I believe there were 11 other funds like ours that got indicted as well. I think once Gary Gensler got in as the chairman of the SEC, I mean, let's face it, he's an ex-Goldman Sachs guy. He's probably has friends at Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, and all the big boys, right?
Yep.
So, these firms make their big money by bringing companies public. It's just a huge part of their business. And their clients, by getting the IPO, normally make a lot of money. And these are all, big wig guys that are $10 million and above with their accounts at Goldman Sachs. So I think we were stepping on the toes of Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley. I think once Gary Gensler got in, they wanted to shut down the secondary market.
You're the examples.
In fact, I saw a news article that came out yesterday on Yahoo Finance, and it talked about how now the IPO is the exit strategy, not the beginning for investments, which is actually true. If you wait for the IPO price in this day and age, you're typically getting where these companies are worth 40, 50, $100 billion. SpaceX is talking about coming public at $2 trillion. So that's a great example. We were selling SpaceX shares to investors at $300, which was around a $50 billion valuation. So if they come public at $2 trillion, just do the math on that.
Yeah.
What is that, 40 times? So if Goldman Sachs now, their customers are getting the price at the IPO price, it's going to be valued at around $2 trillion. We were buying it for customers at $50 billion.
So this is like MMTLP. This is very similar in the sense that they're basically taking your chess piece off of the game because you were messing with the power players who are aligned with our own government.
Yeah, just to go a step further, this is a situation where, these companies now come public in a much longer time frame than they used to. So if you go back in the day where Intel and Cisco and all the, the older tech companies, they came public early. Once Facebook kept delaying their IPO, they were one of the first companies to be selling insider shares to private equity funds like ours. So they kept delaying their IPO. And then when they finally came public, I think they came public around $100 billion valuation. So that's where it hurts the big banks. They're not, these insiders can sell to companies like ours, and instead of coming public quick. So now what's the big deal about having an account at Goldman Sachs if you can't get the hottest IPOs at $1 billion valuation as opposed to $100 billion valuation?
Mm-hmm.
Plus Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, most of the time, they probably give a smidge of the shares to the customers and they keep all of it themselves. With the investment banking deals and all these other things that were happening. I mean, I think I've said it a couple of times now. The few $1 million that we were making was probably costing Goldman, Morgan, them billions of dollars. We were disrupting them, and Jay Clayton, who was the head of the SEC on President Trump's first term, was saying that he'd love the regular mom and pop investor to invest in pre-IPO. That helped our business grow, right? And then more people wanted to invest with us, and then all of a sudden, a change in administration in 2021 is when they start giving us a hard time about everything.
And no love from the Trump administration yet. We're still hoping, because you guys got not much more time before you go to prison. And I guess you're just, right now it's a Hail Mary. You're hoping somebody in the Trump administration will get this on his desk and he'll give you a pardon. That's really the only thing left to do, right? Other than leave the country.
Yeah. Well, you can't even do that.
I'm just kidding. I'm teasing you. Teasing you.
We are hopeful. There's nobody that's been targeted more than Donald Trump, and he went through this.
Same area, Southern District of New York.
Yeah. At least one of the same judges.
But I mean, he had a case where, let's face it, nobody believed that Mar-a-Lago, what the government was saying, that it was worth $13 million. Yeah. The bank didn't have a problem with him. He was still doing business with them. He paid them in full with interest. And this is kind of a very similar situation where we had 7 companies while we ran the fund come public, and all 7 of them instantly off of the IPO, they were major winners. We had to hold the shares for 6 months because we held insider shares. You have a lockup period of 6 months. A couple of them, 2 of them came back down to where they were slightly profitable, but most of them did extremely well. And I'm talking, like Palantir, Airbnb was 100%. SoFi was 100 to 200%. Grab, as soon as Grab came public, it was up like 100 and some odd percent. 23andMe was up 100 and some odd percent after the IPO. So one of the ones that came down, Lyft, on the first day that Lyft traded, it opened up 100% over where we sold it to customers. And that one did dwindle back down to just above where we sold it to customers, by the time the lockup period was over.
It's a win, but a small win.
Right.
Gotcha. What is what are you, Brian? I assume you have a family?
I do. I have a wife that I've been with since she was 16 years old and I was 17. We have 3 daughters. I have a 25-year-old. I have a 22, one turning 22 and turning 20.
I'm always fascinated by this because I bark up the wrong tree of many powerful people as well. Right. I know a lot of them. I'm friendly with some of them. Some of them hate my guts. And I always wonder what would happen if they decide to come after me for whatever reason. You can trump up charges on anybody. If, you live a long enough life, you got something where if they want to come after you, they can. What is it like for you and your family in this particular scenario? I talked about it with Michael once on the show before. I just can't imagine what the feeling is like knowing that you're either going to get a pardon or you're going off to jail as a tax-paying citizen who's done nothing wrong, raised your family, got kids, got a wife that you've been with since high school. What is the mood in your home? What's the feel?
I mean, thank God I have such a great support team. My daughters and we're all just so close. But as a father, let me speak about that. To watch your kids cry, to watch your wife cry, it's something that you never want to see happen. There's a few things about this. You have the financial side of it when it wipes you out, because fighting the government wipes everybody out.
Right.
You have your family side of it where, my kids, my wife, my parents, my friends, everybody prays. I get I get so many texts every day of people praying for me and wishing me well and hope that I'm doing okay and checking in on me. But then, the side of that most people don't see is the side where you're thinking about this for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So sometimes your wife is speaking to you and you're there physically,
Right.
but you didn't hear a word. You're thinking about this case. I'm thinking about this case in my sleep. The second I wake up, all throughout the whole day, I can't do anything. Normally you could do small things and jobs or whatever to take your mind off of it. When you have something like this going on, there is nothing that takes your mind off of this for a second. And now that we're facing the time that we are, I mean, our whole indictment, we were facing 40 to life. Yeah. Honestly, I'm slightly relieved. I think this judge was not favorable to us at all. He almost was a part of their team, the prosecution's team. But if he gave us 40 to life as opposed to 10, and if you do the numbers, they were claiming the whole time we stole $400 million and this and that. If we did, we would have gotten life in jail.
Yeah.
So now that it's over with this judge, and it's at 10, which is probably more like 5 because of all the credits and everything that you get. It's not like where it's the end of the world. But to leave my wife and kids, which I've been with my wife since high school, I haven't been away from my home for more than a week at a time. I talk to my kids every single day, so to miss that. And then I have the thing where my kids are at an age where, weddings might happen, grandchildren might be born, and to even imagine, I have never missed one of their soccer games or any sporting event that they were in or school events. So to come into this and maybe have to miss some of the most important things that happen in their life, it's heartbreaking. But I don't let this, I won't cry about this. I made people a fortune. And unfortunately, we got stuck in a political headstorm. We got stuck into something that we could never have seen coming. And it is what it is.
It does. It's one of those things where you just never expect it to come from your government. That's where I was 5 years ago when COVID happened. COVID changed my opinion of everything. But when it was going down, I thought, I just can't believe that my government is doing this to me. I can't believe that my government's going to make me wear a mask out in public. I can't believe that my government's going to make me stand on dots when I go to the grocery store. I can't believe that my government is going to force my wife to get a vaccination to be a nurse. I just couldn't believe that my government was doing those things. And, you take that 6 years later after the COVID start. Now I look at it and go, man, the government is oppressive all over the country. Court hearings, whether it be financial or I go on and on with the stories that I hear about independent journalists. I mean, there's a guy that's going to be on the show before too terribly long. He talked about all of the independent journalists that have been imprisoned or killed in this country in the last 25 years. And it's an unbelievable number. And nobody even pays attention to guys like us. Right?
You don't really learn about it until it happens to you.
Exactly. You don't believe it until it happens to you. That's my whole argument with all of these people that say everything's fine. I'm like, what do you mean everything's fine? I'm talking to a lot of people where it's not fine for them and they did nothing wrong. These are good fathers. These are people that pay their taxes. They've done everything by the book, and the government decided to come after them. And here they are. They're going off to prison, and nobody's coming to save them. Nobody's coming to help. That's why I like to get your story out, because for me, I can't imagine what that position is like. I probably will face it at some point, to be honest with you, because I tell all of these stories and I create a lot of aggravation for people in power. And I just wonder how long I get away with it. But I apologize that you're going through it. Michael, I know you're going through the same thing. Anything changed, good or bad, over the course of the last month or so that we've talked?
No,
or is it just in the waiting area?
I think we're just in like a limbo stage, which is even also makes us think so much more about this whole thing, because it's like we're home, right? It's like, so all you have is time and time and time, right? And like I go on X to see whatever, and then I find another case of other people, and hundreds of people you find out. I mean, and the only thing is that I say this fraternity or brotherhood that we don't want to be in, from California to New York people, they were all had one thing, is they were Republican, or they were MAGA people, or they were voice their opinion, or like you mentioned, COVID, doctors who have their license stripped away for not refusing to give the vaccine and things like that. And it's the same thing. And you know what? The only thing we could say is we'd all be broadcasting from the same camp if we had a different president, including you, because you wouldn't be allowed to speak, Rob.
100%. Well, I was kicked off of social media back in those days. I had a podcast that was doing very well, and it just disappeared over one night. I mean, it went from thousands of listeners to 100 in one from one podcast to the next. That's what's concerning a little bit about this is we have the Trump administration in now. That's what's concerning to me is, he's been in there for over a year now. And I'm hoping that guys like you, because you know the name Trevor Milton that got pardoned from Trump. Are you aware of that guy?
I think I read a story. Is that the one with the cars that they said he didn't have them, but he was making them anyway or something?
He had a truck. He was trying to do semis that were doing, I think it was some form of new technology. And he showed the truck, and it was going downhill because it didn't create energy yet. So they were kind of showing you what the truck would look like. And they put it on a downhill slope. So the truck was moving, filmed it. And then they tried to imprison him, saying it was like false, trying to get raise money off of false, advertising, false this, false that. And he got a big sentence, and Trump pardoned him. And I'm hoping this is what happens to you, because I had him on. He was on Tucker Carlson, a huge show with Tucker Carlson. And I reached out to him. He came on my show, and when he explained, it sounds very similar to you. He's pardoned. Yeah. He's getting ready to go to prison. He's in a complete panic, and then Trump comes with the pardon. And that's what I'm hoping happens here, because I agree with you. What I see, if there's a divide in the parties, it's amongst the people, right? And I keep seeing the people that are aligned with Trump getting themselves in big trouble, right? They're always the ones that are facing the jail sentences. And that's why I'm hoping that Donald Trump, because the information has to be in front of Donald Trump. I told you one of his attorneys, one of his staffers used to be on the radio show with me. He ran for attorney general here in the state of Missouri. I've sent him your information. I think three people that are very close to Donald Trump have the information. Now, what they do with it, or whether they have the courage to get it in front of his, you never know whether the people are going to do anything with it to get it in front of Donald Trump. But people close to him have it. I would assume Peter Tickton can get it in front of him. I know you guys work through Peter Tickton. So you have to assume that there are people around Donald Trump that have this information. And I guess it's got to give you hope that you're going to get a pardon at some point, because I think Donald Trump would be on your side with this.
Yeah. And if I could just say something about the pardon, it would be great, right? And the reason why is if we win the appeal, which I hands down think that we do, then you have to go through all this all over again.
Right.
And Donald Trump knows, he's been through the SDNY. Why he hasn't done something, the prosecutors that are there, the judges that are there, he's not doing anything about it. And he's been through it. I mean, his convictions, when I was watching that on TV, I couldn't believe what I was watching.
It looked like a show trial.
It 100%.
Where the cameras were at and everything. It looked like they were producing a movie.
So we just went through it.
Say, we'll just change the name from Donald Trump to Mike Castellero, and it's the same exact thing.
Right.
You guys are living the same carbon copy life.
And it's frustrating, but I know that he's got bigger fish to fry at the moment. Let's face it. I mean, since he's gotten in, there's been one issue after another with other countries.
Never ending.
Else. Yep. It's been never ending. So I understand that, but the thing with us is we're not famous people. The person Milton that you were just talking about, he ran a public company. So he has a lot more political pull probably than we do. We're unknown people, but we're unknown, very good people. Myself, Mike, Fran. I'm sure someday you'll meet with her and she'll do a podcast with you as well. I was hoping she'd be on today, but we're people that we don't have people that hate us. People love us. All of our friends are sticking close with us. All of our families are sticking close with us, and we just don't have the big name recognition. So to get on Joe Rogan or any of these other podcasts, or to get on Fox News, is just not likely for people like us.
Yeah, I get it.
We have a lot of good friends that after the company got taken from us, their money's gotten hurt. That invested in the fund, or we're still in the fund. Like I have a friend that I know since I'm 18. He called me 2 days ago. He goes, I just read that, because the court-appointed receiver puts out statements, obviously, to celebrate when bad things happen to us, right? So he's like, the receiver just sent me this, but I've tried to contact them about my investment. They don't call me back. But the minute there's bad press about you, they hit me with it. And that's the part that, like, it's so crazy to still live this lie that the government has made up about us, and a business that's still making money. It's still making money.
Yeah, Rob, the receiver has made almost $30 million so far. The receivership had $100 million in cash in it, and it had 12 companies that have not come public yet, still in it. And she's, just by distributing the stock out, she obviously made statements for everybody. She had to do things that she had to do. But I mean, $30 million is an absorbent amount of money for what she's had to do over the last 2 years. And, and like Mike touched on, people are getting hurt now. I can give you a clear example of 2 companies that we made 100% in, one that we distributed out and one that she distributed out. Airbnb, we sold average cost to customers at $75. When we were, after the 6-month lockup period was over, the stock was around 150. So that's 100%.
Yep.
The investors got back a full 100% of their original investment and then 80% profit because our fund operated on a 20% back end fee. So we got 20% of the profit.
Did they bankrupt you when you went through the trial? I mean, how are you paying bills? How are the families going to pay bills if you guys are sent away?
We're on fumes now.
It's tough. It's tough. Anybody that fights the government, I watch all people on X that have gone through this, and to get jobs and to work through this is almost impossible. And yeah, it's just very costly.
I got a guy going through that here in Missouri. In fact, I just talked to him yesterday. Now he's probably listening. And I said, so financially, what are you doing? He goes, if I could ask you for any help. Now they're trying to put him in prison for 40 years.
Yeah.
Okay? He did nothing wrong. He was a whistleblower. And, they didn't like what he was whistleblowing about because you know how this system works. So now they're trying to put him in prison for 40 years. He's got a big resume. This is not in the financial world. This is in the policing world. And he said, I said, how are you getting by? He goes, I can't. He goes, in fact, if there's anything you could do for me, it's help me get some kind of job. I just need something. He goes, because now the way they've got me all marred up, he goes, anybody that looks at me thinks I'm a criminal. Now I can't even get work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
unbelievable. This guy was I just don't want to say because I don't want to get him in any trouble, but the whole story is amazing. And I'm seeing it over and over again. And I just, I'm sickened that you guys have to go through it. I keep in touch with me again. Okay. Cause I know that you guys got some time here. I'm hoping some good things happen. We'll keep playing our angles. A lot of people in Missouri politics listen to the show. They have connections with the people in Washington, D.C. I mean, they take all of our attorney generals out of Missouri and put them in the Trump administration, right? So the guy that stands, Will Scharf, who I got the information to, Will Scharf was on our radio station. He ran for attorney general in Missouri. You've got Josh Hawley, who was the attorney general of Missouri, who's now the senator from Missouri. You got Eric Schmidt, who was the attorney general, who's now a senator. You have who's the other one? He just went to the I can't even think his name. The last attorney general just went to be the
Andrew Bailey.
Andrew Bailey just went to be the director of the FBI, deputy director of the FBI. So they take our attorneys generals, they filter them right into DC for whatever reason. I can't really figure it out. But there's a lot of attorneys from Missouri that have connections to the show that will hear it some way or another. And hopefully it just gets on somebody's conscience and they get in front of Donald Trump and we can get you some help. That's the plan.
Great.
Well, Trump would be the easy one. You can just walk it up to him.
Take it right to him, right? Just walk right in the Oval Office.
Just walk it in.
Free me immediately.
We appreciate any help. So I'll thank you in advance for anything that you're doing for us. Yeah. But we really appreciate it.
You got it. We do try. I got to tell you, these stories break my heart. I talk about it with my wife all the time. I said, man, the more I hear about these stories, but for the grace of God, go I. It is it's a scary situation. I pray for you, gentlemen. I got to think something good's going to happen. I just don't think you two belong in prison for the next 10 years. It seems insane to me. But like I said, if you hear any information, keep me updated, and we'll talk to you again before anything of consequence happens.
Great.
Right on. Brian, pleasure to meet you, sir.
Pleasure as well. Thank you very much.
Michael, good to see your face, my friend. Be good. I'll talk to you soon. You got it. Thank you. Isaiah. These are the stories that make me nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it just make you kind of just cringe when you hear that?
Yeah, like that's what I've always thought about this story is that, I mean, as soon as you say Southern District of New York, everyone, I think, thinks of President Trump now just because of everything that happened with him. And I mean, there's case after case after case in the history of just the existence that you can go back and see similar things. But The most recent being not the most recent case, but I guess the one that was in the news and media and everyone knew about was President Trump. And I thought Michael was hit the nail on the head there. He's like, just take out President Trump's name in his case and just replace it with Michael Castellero. That's what they've done here.
Right. Did you see the trial, by the way, the Donald Trump one? This is why, see, I am skeptical. My problem is I'm skeptical of Trump. That's my problem. I'm just skeptical because I thought a lot of that, and I said it on the radio at the time. I thought that a lot of the lawfare supposedly that was going on against Trump was World Wrestling Federation stuff. It just didn't make any sense to me. Like when Donald Trump went down to Georgia and he took the picture and everybody goes, oh my God, look at the picture. Look at, he's got that look in his eye. And it's going to be a great campaign photo. And they're going to have t-shirts with it made and all that other stuff. Do you remember that? Down in Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got that look. And I said, this just feels inauthentic to me. It just feels inauthentic. And I don't know why. I could be wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right, but it just felt like all the lawfare was BS. Right? Southern District of New York. That whole story with Letitia James seemed like BS. The videos coming out of the courtroom seemed like a show trial. It didn't seem real to me. Same thing with Alex Jones. He even made mention that on the show the other day.
Yeah.
Maybe about, shouldn't have been the other day. It was a couple weeks ago. And he said, I was involved in a show trial. And I remember watching, because you can watch the Alex Jones trial. Remember, it was about Sandy. There it is. There's the picture right there. Doesn't this look like, the hair is perfect. The look is, it just looks like it's ready for, I don't know. Just doesn't feel
Lighting
right.
could be better.
It doesn't feel right. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I know that rubs people, and I could be wrong, but it just feels like all the lawfare was to make him a martyr, which make him more popular, which would give him all kinds of street cred, but there was really no meat to any of it. Right? There was no meat to any of the stories. They never went anywhere. And I got to say, if the government's trying to frame you, they frame you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you're not getting out with attorneys or anything else. There's nothing you can do when they frame you. And if he went to Southern District, New York, and they would have put it as a criminal trial, if they'd taken a criminal, they could have made up anything against Donald Trump and did exactly what they did to Michael Castellero, couldn't they, Isaiah?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. But our, our Republican thinkers and our conservative thinkers, our Donald Trump loyalists, they never see it through that lens. And I'm like, could be just for show. You have to weigh in the possibility that it is just where's my Warenberg?
Warenberg.
Theaters. Let me say this with Warenberg playing in the background so people know where we're going. All right. What could be Letitia James and what was the one down in Georgia? What was her name? Fannie Willis or whatever it was. Right. And then the FBI raid down in Mar-a-Lago where they were going through Melania's panties. Remember those stories? These feel like narratives to me that are so dumb that they don't make any sense. They just feel like theater, like it is supposed to be theater, like everybody's playing along in the theater, and then everybody gets what they want out of it. There's money made for the attorneys. There's money made for the Southern District of New York. Donald Trump gets the political kick out of it. It just, I don't know.
Warenberg
Theaters. Could it be, Isaiah? I think it could be.
Could it be?
I think it's possible. It's like he said right there. You could just put my name on Donald Trump's. Well, Donald Trump didn't go to prison. That's the difference. That's the major difference, Isaiah, is these real people are going to prison. Donald Trump did not go to prison. And that makes me wonder what the whole situation was about. All right, and I'll leave it there. I could be wrong. Again, my Donald Trump supporters, I'm not trying to irritate you. I got so many questions as to what is happening, and none of this feels right to me. This alliance with Israel doesn't make any sense. That's where we started. These AI data centers don't make any sense. The Smith-Mundt Act doesn't make any sense. The no accountability for COVID makes no sense to me. The no accountability for the global climate change con, Isaiah. We've never even got to that. That's just another con that was out there forever that stripped us of trillions of dollars that were sent off all over the world. And
people have woken up to that finally when they realize
it's after trillions of dollars have been spent, Isaiah.
It's like
it's not like we didn't pay for the global climate change con job. It's
kind of crazy to me.
Yes. Carrington Financial.
Your caring advisor.
See, it's sticking with you. That's the whole idea, Isaiah.
Oh yeah. Someone told me the other day. I can't remember.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine, one of my buddies, they're just like, man, I was listening to your show and Man, that Jones Water commercial, the be a filter or buy a filter, they're like, it just sticks with me. Just sticks with me.
You know what's funny about that? You'll love this story because if Everett's listening now or later on today, I didn't give him that tagline when I was doing his live reads at the very beginning when I was on the radio. And he goes, dude, calls me up because we're friendly with each other. We played dartball together. We got to know him and his family. He goes, dude, be the filter or buy the filter, dude. That's my whole thing. Why aren't you saying it? I go, oh, I didn't even know. He goes, yeah. You'll be the filter or you'll buy the filter. Start saying it. Okay, well, I got you. Too funny. But
like, that's a great tagline, right?
Yeah, coming right off of Michael Castellero, we have to go into Carrington Financial.
Yes.
Your caringadvisor.com. I got to talk to him today. I think I'm going to have him be the treasurer for People's Lobby, Missouri.
Ooh, very smart.
I
I
gotta
just talked to him over the weekend.
Yeah. Carrington Financial, yourcaringadvisor.com. My man, Rick Babbitt's biblical principles with your money. If you're nearing retirement, if you have money to grow, if you have money to protect, if you're in the financial markets, you have got to get an opinion from my man, Rick Babbitt. It could be a second opinion, could be a third opinion, could be a fourth opinion, could be a fifth opinion. It doesn't matter, but you need to get the opinion of Rick Babbitt. What he's done for me and my wife, absolutely fantastic. I've barred them from talking on the phone because she gets real giggly now because of all the money that he's made us through our 401k. I'm just teasing, but he's done an amazing job for us. We were looking at it the other day, just the chart. I was going to show you on camera. I thought, nah, but not show people my wife's money, but it's her 401k from being a nurse. And Isaiah, I'm talking about like crazy amounts in 6 months, 8 months, however long he's had the money. I mean, we went from, it's up like 40%. Off a nice base too. My wife had a nice, she's been a nurse for 15 years, so she had a nice base. Your caring advisor, my man, Rick Babbitt's 314-671-0525. He's on every Tuesday now at 11. So we'll have him on tomorrow at 11. I think he's going to answer some financial questions tomorrow. So if you're in the markets and you want to ask him some questions, Rick Babbitt's. And, one of the things that's interesting about him is he tells me, he goes, Rob, I do it different than everybody else. I'm not a cookie cutter financial planner. Most people they do everything pretty much in sequence. He goes, I do things completely different. And that would make sense based on talking to him. He does have a different view of what's going on in the world than most, but he knows the currencies. He knows the politics. He knows the financial markets. He knows what he's doing. Rick Babbitt's, your caring advisor, 314-671-0525, 314-671-0525. And then finally, when it's lunchtime and you're in Washington, Missouri, or any surrounding area, it's always time for Moe's Pizza.
That's right.
My man, Mike Kahn, Brenda, his beautiful wife, Moe's Pizza
today.
in Washington, Missouri. Closed on Mondays, open the rest of the week. So if you're starving for pizza right now, you can't go to Moe's Pizza. They take Mondays off, but a great place, great people. God owns the place, as he likes to say. He just works there. Delicious pizza and salad bar. Great chicken wings. The sandwiches are amazing, and the ice cream is fantastic. And if you have any kind of get-together, if you're in the area and you just want to support Moe's Pizza, once you meet them, you'll love them. I mean, they treat you like family out there. Moe's Pizza in Washington, Missouri, any kind of get-together, they have space available, banquet space available for birthday parties, anniversaries, political meetings, Bible studies, anything where there is a get-together. It is Moe's Pizza, a landmark in Washington, Missouri. I see on the screen here, let me talk about this real fast. This is my buddy Jeff. So Jeff is going to do crime podcast series. He's in that business, right? So he's got friends. They're in the true crime business. So he's taking on the Jeffrey Winehouse case, Isaiah. So what I told him, I was talking last night. I said, listen, that case annoys me so bad. I find myself thinking about it way too much because it's just so bothersome to me. I think I relate, Isaiah, to being an independent journalist. I think that's why of all the cases, they all bother me and aggravate me and scare me and worry me. But I think the Jeffrey Winehouse case that could be me. That could easily be me. I don't think I would have went to the gas station with those people, right? Yeah. I just don't think I would have done that. But outside of that, I'm the same Jeffrey Winehouse guy. I don't like corruption. I don't like abusive power. I just don't like those things going on. And I challenge them to my own regret at times, right? When you challenge power, you get burned on occasion. Say what you want about Jeffrey Winehouse. He had no fear. He was doing what he thought was right. He took on some very difficult conversations, and he ended up taking 4 bullets for it. And he should be freed immediately. Absolutely immediately. If Governor Kehoe is aware of this story, he should be pardoning or giving clemency to Jeffrey Winehouse like yesterday. There is no reason for that man to be in prison. It is a shameful mark on Missouri.
Did you send it to Lieutenant Governor Wassinger yet?
Yeah, he's got it.
Great.
I'll follow up with him before it's terribly long. But people in power are getting your story out, Jeffrey. I know he's got friends, family, people associated with him that listen. We're going to get the word out there. We're not giving up on that. That's an easy one because of the video, right? When you have a video of your own execution, and going into his house. Yeah, this is another story right here. So this is the one that they were working on. You know the story of Don Bowles?
I mean, maybe I do, but just not by name.
I'll send you this. It's a true crime story. So Jeffrey sent it to me yesterday. And it starts off talking about how many independent journalists or just journalists in general have been silenced over the years in this country. It is a big number, and it's very depressing. And I just don't think many people know it. You always hear about Russia killing their journalists and this and that and the other. I think one of the most dangerous things to do is be an independent journalist in America right now. It's a dangerous place to be, just based on numbers, not based on fear or anything else, just based on numbers. If you go out and you challenge power in this country, you don't end up in a good spot very often. You end up in trouble. You end up in prison. You end up in jail. You end up dead. You end up something.
You become one of Hillary Clinton's friends.
Yeah, you don't go too far. I mean, I'm a little different. I don't look to die for the cause, Isaiah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make people aware of it as best I possibly can, and then we'll decide as a society whether we want to allow journalists to be to have their computers and phones taken from their homes because the cops smell marijuana. Isaiah, which was how this whole thing started. Can we get another like and share in? See how we can do with like and shares?
Do it. Like and share.
Pop that up there. Like and share, like and share. Again, Isaiah, one more time with your spiel. I love it so much.
Yes. Likening and sharing. Why does it matter? Because it helps us reach more people. We are working against Palantir, and we're working against Peter Thiel, Mark Zuckerberg, all those people.
All the people that we're complaining about on our show control our fate on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's a very odd situation, and people can see it. You and I can see it. I mean, it's obvious to us what's going on. But when people, like I get trouble because when I put a post up on social media, people aren't used to seeing it. I turn my page over and it's, now it's for the show. And people think that if you get engagement on social media, right, or if you get clicks on social media, that's somehow beneficial to us. If it is someday, it's not now. That is not our business model. Our business model is to take our advertisers that I read every day. We might take a couple. I think we got 3 more that are on. We might take 2 more after that. I think once we get to 15, that's about as far as I'm going to go. Then we're going to open up our webpage and we'll put participating businesses on there so that we can all shop within our own community, that kind of thing. But our business model is right now, at least, I don't know if it's going to change over time, but right now it's off advertisers. Our clicks and engagement are, these are people that support what we're doing. We get our information out enough people to make these people happy, right? So we have enough reach between Rumble, social media, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, X, Spotify, clips, conversation, networking, people that we know, just to add it all in together, and you have a big group of people that are going to shop with our advertisers. So we take care of it from that angle. The likes and the shares and this and the other, that is really just, as far as I can tell, for me, is to spread the word out further and to get people talking about it. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying to listen to the show. In fact, some of my favorite.
Let me put it like this, because
I
do know that some people, they might be a little bit older than me. They might be in your age bracket or even older.
How old are you, by the way?
And so I'm 34 on Saturday. Turned 34.
Okay, 34.
And so I know that social media and how things are disseminated and information is very different than basically everyone grew up with, because broadcast media was the typical. Radio and television are very similar in how you get the message out to people. And how they were able to grow the message before is, there's only a limited amount of channels. And so whoever they put in front of you on those channels, that's how they grew. And then the second way to grow is you just telling your friends about a show, right? And so that was really the only opportunities that people had to grow, is be a part of the big club, as we say with George Carlin, right? If you're not in the club, then you're not really going to get your message out there. Well, it's
a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
No, Peter Thiel, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, those are the guys that are in the big club. But like Robb talks about all the time with People's Lobby, we can be an ant army. We are the ant army. We, the people, we can engage with the content, not just here, but in life too, right? And become active and politically active and speak out. But here online, we can use this platform. Our show is the platform, meaning to amplify those messages And you can be a part of amplifying the message by just liking a video, which is so simple. But that's how you can get the message out. Like the video, share the video, comment the video, share it on your own Facebook page and say, this is why I support Rob Carter, or this is why I disagree with Rob Carter, right? That's going to help us just get the message out there to more people. And even if you don't like the message that we're speaking, that will get it out to more people so we can get more people on the show to debate these ideas. We're one of the only shows that wants to do that.
That's what's so fascinating about what we're doing is I have so much vitriol come at me from the other side. I can't get them to talk to me.
Yeah.
I can't get them to talk to you. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
You can't get people to talk to you and say they get crazy on social media. You're like, well, come on the show and let's hash this out. And then you can go back and listen to see if your argument made sense.
Yeah.
And you can't even get them to do that.
I know.
That's
what I've been told is from many, I mean, you've heard it more than I do, Rob, but dozens and dozens of people now, they tell me, this is what we need. This is the show we need. This is the type of framing we need where people can disagree and still talk on the show and have disagreements. Because, I mean, what they're telling me, what people are telling me, Rob, and I do see this too, is when people are on shows like The View or CNN and they disagree, they're just attacking each other. That's all. They're not actually having.
That's because our society, Isaiah, has made that more appetizing to listen to.
Yeah.
People want to see the vitriol. They want to see the fight. It's the Jerry Springer of politics, right?
Exactly.
Did you ever watch Jerry Springer? Is that before your time?
Of
Okay,
course.
when Jerry Springer first came out, I was living with my buddy Barry, and we would watch that show all the time and just crack up at the ridiculousness of Jerry Springer.
Oh, yeah.
One of my advertisers is dating somebody who was on Jerry Springer.
It's a rude.
They had to sign an NDA because the whole thing is made up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
So you can only imagine what politics is like. If politics is like Jerry Springer, then a lot of the fights are pre-orchestrated. Okay, get into it, start fighting, because when you get into a fight back and forth, it's like a car accident. People will stop and look at it. Same thing with cable networks, right? They like to fight. Remember Dan Bongino and Geraldo? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Look up Dan Bongino, Geraldo. Give me a clip of Dan Bongino and Geraldo. I'll show it to you right now what I'm talking about. So Dan Bongino, he made his bones. First of all, he was doing a podcast, all right? And I would listen to that podcast on YouTube. I don't know how it came to me, but I started listening to it, and I loved it. I thought Dan Bongino was right on. He was talking about Russian collusion. Then he pops from that onto Fox News. And when he gets onto Fox News, he starts going up against Geraldo Rivera, and they start in this deal where they're constantly fighting with one another. And they're, Geraldo Rivera's an alpha male, Dan Bongino's an alpha male. So every segment that they do together, it's like, oh, these guys, if they ever meet each other, they're going to get into a fist fight. I'll take Bongino because Geraldo's near 80. But nonetheless, it was just a constant fight back and forth. And I thought, well, this has got to be good for ratings, because every time I see it, I stop to listen to what they have to say. Now, if you want to do it in a different manner, if you want to do it instead of the forced fight between these people, which Fox News orchestrates because they know these two are going to get into it, and you just want to solve problems, that's not as impressive right now, but it will be. You know what? You know when that will happen? When we really start to grow, it will be when people really start to get fearful of what is happening. There's going to be a time. Mm-hmm. If we're wrong, then we're wrong. That'd be great. I want to be wrong. If loving you is wrong, Isaiah, I don't want to be right. Right? I don't want to be right about all this stuff. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that everything works out just perfect, and Palantir and the total surveillance system and the stripping of our rights and the stripping of our money all works out into this beautiful, wonderful situation. I just think that it's not. I think the puzzle pieces are being put in place based on legislation and what I read and understand and vibe on. This is what I think is happening. Not to tell people or not to try to get it out into people's minds so that they have a conversation about it, to me, would be unpatriotic. The patriotic thing to do is like Paul Revere did. You run around saying the British are coming, the Israelis are coming, the British are coming, the Israelis are coming, and you tell people and you say, look at this. Do you see this body of work? What do you think? And if they can't make head or tails of it, or they believe that we're right, then maybe we can push back against it. But if I am right and nobody pushbacks against it, then we lose all of our freedoms. And eventually you're going to be in a slave state. It could be 10 years from now. It could be 5 years from now. It could be 20 years from now. But that is where the apparatus that rules our country is taking this operation. Wait a minute.
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
All right, give me Geraldo.
You want to know a fact, Jack? Is Jerry Springer was the mayor of Cincinnati.
You know how he got fired?
No.
He wrote a check to a hooker. He did.
That makes sense.
He went to a prostitute, wrote her a check, and he got bounced as mayor, and that's how the Jerry Springer show started.
Perfect.
Democrat, by the way.
That's exactly. And he was born in the UK, just so you know.
Yeah, he's a piece of work, Jerry Springer. He is.
Here's Geraldo Rivera and Dan Bongino talking about George Floyd, it looks like.
Give that a little bit right there.
You tell that to the black families that see their sons being killed.
That's all you
twice
got.
the rate
you
of
got
white
nothing else,
sons.
buddy.
That's
got
a
nothing
fact.
else.
That's a fact.
You've got nothing else. All you want to do is see the country burn. You just want to see the country burn. That's it.
I want to see the country burn. You son of a bitch. I want to see the country burn. You punk. You're nothing but a punk.
Yeah.
You're a punk, Bongino. You're a punk.
You wouldn't tell me that to my face.
We'll leave it there. Coming up, the left continues.
You tell that to the black families that see.
Right. But that was the thing. And you could show just as many with Bongino coming at him harder than Geraldo.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But that's when he took off. That's when Bongino got his own radio show and he became America's darling and he had the high ratings and this, that, and the other. It was all because of the fist fighting on the show with Geraldo. That's how he made a name for himself, because everybody on Fox News hated Geraldo. So therefore they loved Dan Bongino. Right. That's how it makes sense. That's how it all works. That's how it all works. That's how it works. That's how it works.
When I was scrolling the clips, and then there's clips of Geraldo on CNN trashing Dan Bongino, but he's not there to talk about it. He's just talking with an anchor and he's trashing Bongino. It's so funny. It's the
I'm beginning to
Uniparty at work.
Yeah. Can we do ticks for a minute? You checking out the ticks situation? We haven't brushed on it, so I need to open it up.
Yeah.
Can we start where it all began with the ticks?
Yeah, my sister has Alpha Gal, I think is.
Yeah, that's what it is. So this is Alpha Gal. So the idea here is that ticks and mosquitoes will be released into the environment as bioweapons or as weapons of whatever, right? Would you call them bioweapons? I guess they would be bioweapons. Once they bite you, they're in your system, right? This all started with a conversation about ticks originally. That I don't even know what the name of these ticks are, but they bite you, and once they get into your bloodstream, it makes you have an allergic reaction to meat. All right, I don't know. You aware of this, Isaiah? That this was
that's what happened to my sister a long time ago.
This was presented in the World Economic Forum, though.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't know how many people know that. So this was discussed at the World Economic Forum. Just play that first, then we'll tell you where it went from there. So when this happened, everybody went, "Oh, look out for ticks. There's going to be a tick outbreak because they're talking about it at the World Economic Forum." And then everybody goes, "Oh, come on. He's just talking hypothetically. That would never happen. That's crazy. You guys are such conspiracy theorists." Well, let's just take out the conspiracy and let's see what happened. This
what was
is
the project called before COVID? What was that called again? Project
Event 201.
Event 201. Yeah.
Same thing. They tell you what they're going to do. Everybody calls you conspiracy theorist. Same thing with the masks.
Yeah.
When I told people they were going to mask people and they were going to mandate vaccines, Isaiah, you don't understand. I'm telling you, I couldn't explain it to people unless they lived through it. People in my life that had known me forever, thought I had lost my mind by suggesting that they were going to mandate vaccinations and make people wear masks. This is what people close to me. I was in the business world. That's what I'm talking about at the most part. They thought that I was a lunatic, crazy person, didn't even like me anymore because I was suggesting it was going to happen. And then when it happened, Isaiah, you would think that people go, "Man, you did say that about 6 months ago. You told us this was going to happen. I can't believe it. You got that right. How did you know?" They didn't do that. They switched from you're a lunatic, conspiracy, tinfoil hat lunatic, nut job, to, "Well, Rob, what do you expect? You have to wear the mask or you're going to spread it."
Yeah.
That's what they went from. They went from telling me I was crazy that it was going to happen to it was necessary. And they didn't even recognize it within themselves. I'm telling you, Isaiah, that happened. That's why I say the brainwashing is real.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with the WEF. This is how it all started back at the World Economic Forum. And this gentleman right here, I don't know his name, telling you that they through tick bites, they can make you allergic to
Dr. Myong or something like that. I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
That's a cute name. I like that. Let's check him out.
Examples. So one is that people eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, "Wow, this steak is just too juicy. I can't do it." I'm one of those, by the way. So, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance, and some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering. Another
perfect
human engineering, right? So they came out of the World Economic Forum. People saw that and said
2023 is when this video was posted. I don't know when this actually was happening.
Yeah, and people saw that. They said, I have a feeling this may happen. They're going to come up with some kind of vaccine so you won't like meat, if you're overweight, or they'll put it in the tick population, this and that, and the other. So all the conversations began right after that clip was made public, right? Now let's go to Newsmax. Clip number 11.
Israel Max.
You
went too fast for me, Rob.
An update now to a story that we've been following because we do not think that it is a coincidence that a once rare condition that's existed for decades is suddenly affecting so many people. Something called alpha-gal syndrome, transmitted through tick bites, which causes an allergy to red meat. It can also be deadly. And over the last 5 years, cases of alpha-gal have increased by over 300%, 10,000% since 2013. After Bill Gates invested millions of dollars in genetically engineered ticks, that's a fact. He's also an investor in lab-grown meat companies.
Professors from Western Michigan University, they lay out that they say it's morally required to intentionally genetically engineer Lone Star ticks to spread alpha-gal syndrome as a form of moral bioenhancement to stop people from eating meat.
Yay.
Think about this, a tick-borne illness that's been around a long time. It stops people from eating red meat. They are allergic to it. You can have reactions to it because climate fanatics think it's better for the climate if we eat less meat. Then you factor in Bill Gates, unlimited money, climate hysteria, and lab-grown meat being sold in more and more places.
Good
Interesting question.
Wow.
Okay, so now you see that now we're throwing in Bill Gates. Now you see the numbers. So it started with a guy in the World Economic Forum. Everybody said that was conspiracy. I'm telling you, Isaiah, I was doing the show at the time. Everybody said that was conspiracy.
2016, they're saying, is when that video was from, I guess, the WEF video.
That had to be after that. Well, I saw it when I was doing my show, so it would have been long after that. So I saw it after that. And everybody began the conspiracy theory that was going to go down, that the ticks were going to be released, they were going to try to save the planet through ticks, right? Now let's go to Fox News, clip number 7. Where do you think Fox News is at, Isaiah, if you had to guess?
Oh, probably right in line with Newsmax.
What do you think? How do you think they're going to make their money on it, though?
Oh, probably a vaccine.
You would have to imagine.
Yeah.
So we went from World Economic Forum, alpha-gal, Bill Gates, 10,000 cases, through the roof.
10,000%.
10,000%. And now here comes Fox News with the cure. Don't worry about it. Fox News got it all covered.
Got you taken
Number
care of.
7. It's going to work out great.
Is this vaccine available now?
This vaccine is not available now. It should be available in a few months. I have a feeling with this Spotlight, they may fast track it. It's a completely safe vaccine based on older technology. It's not something that we don't know about. It's using proteins and basically peptides to target the Lyme, part of the proteins on the Lyme Borrelia, it's called, the bacteria itself. Very, very, very promising. It's going to be used for...
Okay, that guy's name is Dr. Siegel. Can you put him up on the screen?
Oh, yeah. This guy right here.
Yeah, so this is Dr. Siegel. Dr. Siegel is a Fox News contributor. When COVID was in its height, he came on and said he had great news about hydroxychloroquine because Donald Trump was pushing hydroxychloroquine. He said, I administered it to my father, who's 99 years old, and he recovered immediately. As soon as we gave him hydroxychloroquine, he started to get better fast. He came out about a week later, Isaiah, and he said, you know what? It was probably just luck because we've looked at the studies and hydroxychloroquine doesn't work on the COVID. So he had to come out and retract an apology.
It was probably just a fluke.
Probably just a fluke. His 99-year-old father got better because he took hydroxychloroquine, and the Fox News contributor, because of their allegiance to the vaccines, had to come out afterwards and say, well, it probably was just lucky and a fluke because I've read the data and hydroxychloroquine does not work on COVID. That's him. That's Mark Siegel. Now he's selling you vaccines for tick bites. So let's just do the math. We have the World Economic Forum introduced the idea. You have Bill Gates, who was behind Moderna and the COVID shots, who comes out now with a tick vaccine, who invests in these tick vaccines, and then you have a 10,000% increase in tick bites, alpha-gal, in the middle. Can anybody see the problem reaction solution here? Is it easy or is it hard to see? Is it? But you know what, Isaiah, nobody will know. That's the beauty of our country, is nobody knows what's going on because they're too busy trying to survive in this life. So they can't pay attention.
Circumstantial, they'll say. Circumstantial evidence.
Can't pay attention to anything that is simple. What did Bill Gates say? He said, I got into the vaccine business because it was one of the most profitable, is the way he put it. Well, if you can create an illness and the vaccine, well, hallelujah. It works out really nice for you. I just wish that I had the ear of the powerful like Bill Gates does. It'd be super, super nice if I had the ear of the powerful, because I could say, look, if you want to solve all the problems, quit causing them.
Yep.
How about that for an idea? If you want no more war, quit starting wars.
Don't start it.
If you want no more illnesses, stop creating the illnesses, right? If you want kids to be taught properly, quit teaching them nonsense. If you want the borders to be closed, close the borders, right? All very simple problems. If you want less confusion about what's going on in your country, get rid of the Smith Modernization Act. Make it illegal to make up stories, right? Just you make up stories, not if they're made up. Like if you can prove it in any way, shape, or form, make the language very clear that you can be a journalist. But if you're intentionally making up a story to persuade public opinion and you offer yourself as a news source, well, there should be some kind of penalty for that. But they orchestrate the information, Isaiah, and nobody seems to notice and nobody seems to care. Can I do AI just for a minute, or do you got to go?
I do got to go soon, but I think we could probably hit it really quick.
Can we do Palantir real fast with Fuentes?
Let's do it.
It's clip number 2. All right. I'm going to start with AI tomorrow. So we're going to do, who do we got on tomorrow? We got Andy Palachuk on at 10, and we have Rick Babbitt's on at 11. So I'm finished with AI, flock cameras, and the like tomorrow. But I want to get into this story because I think it is being tied to Israel. Now I'm starting to see the clear connections, and it makes a lot more sense why this is getting shoved down our throat. That's my opinion on it.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, I could tell you that Israel is very technologically savvy.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very savvy in that arena. And they tend to come up with things that do not influence. That's I guess, change the game for the world a lot of times. Like they were influential in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cell phones, all these different things.
Israel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll buy it. Check out Fuentes, because he talks about Palantir. And again, I just agree with Nick Fuentes. I don't agree on this particular clip. I should say I agree with the clip that Nick Fuentes, and he's very eloquent at times. So I agree with what he says in this particular clip. When I disagree with him, I'll start playing those as well. Primarily, I like to play with clips that I agree with exactly what he's saying. Here he's talking about Palantir. Clip number 2.
This is how Israel makes decisions about who to kill. Anybody above a certain threshold of that value, of that score, will be killed. So let's say Lavender has a list of millions of Palestinians. Let's say 100,000 of them have the 100% rating, 100% Hamas terrorist. Israel's going to drone strike and kill all those people. Then they're going to move on and say, everybody above 90% threshold is going to get drone striked and killed. Everybody above this, a sign of value. This is what Palantir does. They're in the business of creating murder lists. They're scraping Facebook, scraping satellite imagery from various militaries and intelligence agencies and other forms of surveillance to create databases of personal information, names, faces, dates of birth, financial information, geolocation, bank information, healthcare information, relationships, family or otherwise. And they're creating kill lists, assigning weighted scores, using algorithms, using artificial intelligence to tell the military which people to drone strike. And before people say, oh, well, that's totally innocuous, 3 Zionists involved with the Israeli government and the CIA from the very beginning created a total surveillance state platform. They are clearly loyal to Israel. They built it in Israel to kill Palestinians. Some people might try to convince you that that doesn't matter. So what? That's happening in Israel. That's happening in Gaza. Who cares about whether they're killing people in Hamas? What does that have to do with America? Would you like to know that Palantir has an enemies list of U.S. citizens as well?
Oh, no, you didn't.
This is confirmed and verified that Palantir has a list that they maintain for the CIA, for federal law enforcement, of 1 to 2 million Americans that they have classified as potential political dissidents.
That's good. Isaiah, can you look that up
They
real
have
fast? Search, does Palantir compile lists for the CIA of potential terrorists, American terrorists? Somebody in there, I agree with this right here. I think it's both, but what do I know? Shield Wolf says Christians are the true targets, not Islam. I think it's both.
Let's see what we find here.
Palantir.
Yes, Palantir software helps U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agencies analyze data to identify and track terroristic threats, including domestic ones, but it does not appear to be the primary entity that compiles official terror watch lists. And that's what he was just saying, is that they're the ones that put it in motion, and then they hand it over to those people, and then they go and execute what this private company just told us we should do.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go to my favorite, which is Whitney Webb. If you have not read her book, Isaiah, this is the next book you should read. I know you went to the library for your birthday and got some new books, and I like those books. Those are good books, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to get One Nation Under Blackmail by Whitney Webb. In fact, I'm going to get that for you for your birthday. How about that? When I see you, that's my book. That's my book for you. Is One Nation Under Blackmail. It explains so much that people. I should be a book salesman for her book. I should, because what her book does is it with data that you can go back into time and look at through newspaper clippings and this and that and the other. She lays out how the intelligence agencies now started to begin to align in the Hoover administration with the intel agencies. So the intel agencies, and the mafias began to integrate. And they said that they needed them because they had organized structures that were kind of low key, and they needed those structures during the time of war, and they integrated themselves. And that is where I think we're at today. And Donald Trump, I'm going to get you, Donald Trump was in the middle of that, just so everybody understands, because of his connection to Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn, Donald Trump said it was his mentor. Roy Cohn was an attorney for the mafia, and that's who Donald Trump's mentor is, just so we all understand.
Number one political advisor,
Roy Cohn. Okay. Now listen to what Whitney Webb, One Nation Under Blackmail, listen to what she has to say about Palantir on a most recent podcast that she did. Check this out. Whitney Webb. I still think she's the best.
Push from Peter Thiel, the Thielverse, and all of these tech oligarchs that are aligned with him, not to single him out, but it's a squad to basically create, turn the U.S. government into a private corporation, which it technically already is. The multinational corporation runs everything, right? But it's a way to sort of formalize that and have, a national CEO run the country as a dictator, and they call it, either SovCorp for sovereign corporation or GovCorp, a governing corporation. And I think Palantir is basically being set up to be the beta test for that, because they not only have they been handed the military and our entire intelligence community, they've now under the current iteration of Trump been handed all of our agricultural data, all of our healthcare data, and IRS. It has just expanded and become total. And I think that's extremely concerning when you consider the people that run this are literally ideologically aligned with people that want one company to replace the governing structure of the country. So,
well, and also
if we allow them to continue, but if we allow them to continue to do this, Palantir will, they already, I mean, the New York Times said they already know everything about you and literally called them the one seeing eye. And total information awareness is the pyramid with the beam covering the earth, you know? I mean, they're just like rubbing it
Can you pause that right there?
in your face, but what it ultimately.
Okay, see that graphic that's on the screen? So total information awareness is something that Whitney Webb talks about a lot, right? This is the this was how do I explain this? This was a program that preceded Palantir. It was called Total Information Awareness, and that was their logo. Look at that, the all-seeing eye over the entire globe. This is what we are funding for these AI data centers. This is what America is. They don't even try to hide it that they're doing it. They're doing it right in front of your face. And you have all of these people that argue that we should be building these big, massive AI data center surveillance. I call them AI surveillance centers. If we called them AI surveillance centers, then people would understand it. This is not about curing cancer. This is not about all the great things AI can do. This is about taking jobs away from people, replacing them with AI, replacing them with robots, and having total and complete surveillance over every ounce of the globe, because they now have the technology to do it, and they're going to make you pay for it as they build this prison around you. That is my take. That's what Whitney Webb says. That's what Catherine Austin Fitts says. That's what all of these people are saying, and they bring the receipts. Continue on.
Comes down to is that you know, obviously those of us in independent media putting ourselves out there, we're putting a certain amount of data into the void with the hope that people will wake up and do something about it. But if you are watching this and this stuff concerns you, starve them of your data as much as possible. And I think the most powerful thing you can do is get rid of your smartphone. I know Hakeem sells alternatives, but if you really need one, you know, but you do not need to have an Android or an Apple device on you. You can live without it. You lived without it before. And the more, I mean, it's the biggest generator of data for them. And their whole plan fails if people just mass non-comply with them. It's very important.
What do you think, Isaiah? Could you live without an iPhone at this point?
I don't think many people would be, not that they couldn't, but I can tell you that when I was starting to work in the software world, you know, and then I was starting to work in startups, I'd be getting these phone calls after hours and I'd be like, hey, you guys got to stop calling me. All right. You can call me 8 to 5, but after that, you guys got to stop calling me. And they're like, well, you know, technically, Isaiah, you're supposed to be available at any times. And that's the law. I don't know if anyone knows that, but.
What now? Say it again.
Yeah. So if your work calls you and your salary, right, then you just have to, there's nothing that can stop them from telling you to work.
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
Here's the story.
All right. When this all first started to take shape, right, I began in the shoe business in 1994. When I first started in the shoe business, the way you run your business is you have to see sales from each week from retailers to kind of judge where your business is going. And then when you see your sales for the week, you plan that out for months in advance or for the season, right? So you say, okay, we sold 5% of our inventory, but this is kind of an off week. I'm guessing it's going to sell 8% next week, 10% the week after that. Then we got a sale run. We're going to sell 20% that week. And you start laying out your season. So sales reports were very important. And you'd get them on a fax machine, and usually come out Monday morning. You'd hear your phone ring or the fax machine ring, and you'd get these little reports. When cell phones started to come out, remember it was beepers before cell phones. And then cell phones. And I remember the first time that I got a cell phone, it was probably, I really don't remember, 96, 97, I'm guessing, somewhere around there. First time I got a cell phone, I remember being over the moon excited about getting the cell phone. Because I thought, now I don't have to be at home. If somebody wants to call me and talk business, I can pick it up if I'm at the grocery store. If I want to go in over to my son's house, I can pick up the phone over at my son's house. And I was so excited for it because it gave me the freedom to leave my house and still be able to do business. Then I went to work for Skechers in 2001. And when I went to Skechers in 2001, what I thought was a great thing turned into a negative, because I was tied to that phone every second of every day, 24/7. It was nonstop. There was no way to get away from it. I was always available. If it was 4 a.m, I was available. If it was 10 o'clock at night, I was available. If it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I was available. I became a slave to that cell phone, whereas I thought it was going to be a benefit. This is what I mean about AI, right? And the AI technologies. When I first got it, I thought, oh, this is going to open me up. It's going to be so free. This is going to be so great. And then the exact opposite happened. I became a slave to my phone, and it was on my. I could never get away from work. It was never ending. Is the way it turned out.
That's essentially what was happening with me, and me. This is just who I am. I just tell them, hey, I don't care. Can't get a hold of me. Too bad, so sad. Suck it up. You know, they don't like that, but that's what I would say to them. And because I know my value, and you know, typically when I'm in a company, I'm a pivotal person being in the company. They brought me in
necessary. You make yourself
necessary.
Yes.
And so I know my value. And so I have no problem telling them, no, I'm not going to do that. Right. Because, you know, most people are afraid to say those things, but I have always told people, hey, if you just do good enough, if you work hard enough and you make yourself valuable enough, you can tell your bosses that you're not going to do something, not in a way that you're just being rude about it, but if they're trying to force something down your throat, force you to do something that you don't want to do, that gives you more power, I guess is the right word, because you can say, no, I'm not going to do that.
And you know what's
what
funny?
are they going to do? Fire you?
Those are usually the best employees, by the way, Isaiah.
Oh,
so
100%.
Most people that fight back against their bosses and don't get fired, they fight back against their bosses because they know their boss is in a world of hurt if they leave.
Exactly.
Right. You make yourself so valuable to your boss that their boss is like, I can't lose that person. I mean, I like to fire him and just replace him. Like salespeople, generally speaking, unless they are absolute rock stars, can be replaced. I mean, you can replace but certain people in your organization. My executive assistant, when I was at when I worked out in San Diego for 6 years, I was just telling my wife about her last night. Her name was Erin. I couldn't survive without her. When she told me she was leaving, I thought, well, I got to leave then, because
this is it.
She kept my whole life in store for me. I mean, it was I call her every morning and say, okay, what's on my agenda today? Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, okay, we got to call this person. We got to get this done. And at the end of the day, I'd call her back and we'd reconcile everything that needed to be done. She was so perfect and so wonderful with keeping me organized that as soon as she was gone, I knew that she couldn't be replaced. I knew it. She was just too good at it, and I'm too scatterbrained, and I know she had to learn me. But she made herself invaluable to me. I remember when she said she was leaving, I think we were paying her $60,000 at the time, and said she was leaving to make 75. I said, we'll get you the $75,000 if it's money. She said, no. I'm going to move. My husband and I have talked about it. This has been in the works for a while, Rob, and I'm sorry, but we're going to move, and I'm going to make this move, and blah, blah, blah. And I've never forgiven her for it.
I'll never forgive you, Aaron. Never forgive you.
Never forgive her.
Before we wrap up, I did want to throw this up. Do you know where the name Palantir comes from?
Yes, it's from that movie,
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I thought you would know. I was like, most people are becoming aware of this, but I just wanted to throw this up so everyone could see. This is just an AI overview that Google put together for me. Named after the Palantir from the Lord of the Rings, right?
Yep.
This is what I wanted to read down here. Choose the name as a nod to their data analytics software, which is designed to provide massive, interconnected, all-seeing views of complex data. That's why they named it Palantir.
That's why they named it Palantir. Exactly. Well, that's what I say. That's what I say to people that act like it's no big deal. You know, like you're going to miss out on Facebook if you don't have the AI data centers.
Jeez.
And I said, you have to look at the people behind the AI data centers, the ones that are wanting to get all of this total information awareness. Palantir, well, they're telling a different story. I should not believe my lying ears and eyes, because I'm okay with access to Facebook, but if you take it away from me, I'm going to be fine. If you tell me that I'm going to be surveilled morning, noon, and night by my government, I don't like that idea. I don't like the idea that they can. I don't like the fact that they can surveil me, which I grant to most people. I grant to people that argue with me that they can do it now. Yeah. But the idea of storing your information with flock cameras, with cameras, low-flying drones, which they were talking about in one of those clips, storing all of your information from every stroke you've made on your computer, every search engine that you've used or what you've looked at, and compiling that and using that against me. I'm not for that. I don't think we should be for that. And I think if we're going to have any kind of AI data centers, because they do seem at some level inevitable, Isaiah.
Yes, of course.
Where are the protections? The only person I've seen talking about protections in Missouri government's Joe Nicola. Mm-hmm. He's the only one talking about protections. But that should be federal protections, right? Because if you're talking about something that will strip all of your Fourth Amendment rights, if you're going to implement them, where's the government to come in and say, okay, AI data centers are going to happen. We have to have them. It's for national defense. We got to stop the Chinese. We got to stop the Iranians. We got to stop the Canadians. We got to stop the Mexicans. We got to stop the Venezuelans. We got to stop the Colombians. We got to stop everybody. We have to stop it. Greenland. I mean, Greenland's, they've been a real problem and thorn in our side as well, right? So we have to stop all of our enemies, Iraq, Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, Qatar. How many other enemies do we have? How many enemies do we have now? We got a lot of enemies around the world because we're free. They hate us for our freedoms.
But we're going to go protect them, though. We're going to save them, Rob.
Let me get a little George Bush before we leave. You want to hear George Bush, right? Dummy Bush? Let me get a little George Bush here before you go fast. Let me give...
Fool me once. Right, shame on you.
Fool me twice. Just don't be fooling me.
I can't be fooled again. All right?
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists. Either you're with us, either you love freedom and with nations which embrace freedom, or you're with the enemy. There's no in between. You're either with us or you're with the enemy. It's clear.
You're either with us or you're against us.
There's no in between, all right?
You're either for total surveillance or you're not. You're either for total surveillance or you're not. This is my favorite one of all time, though, Bush.
We must stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive. I remember that. I remember watching that on the news. The one thing I'll say about the AI data centers is that if you're saying if your argument is that we're using Facebook, so that's why we need them, then we'll just delete our Facebook accounts. No problem. Is that what you're telling us we need to do? Is that what you're...
I'll get rid of Facebook.
No problem. We need to delete the Facebooks. I saw James in here. James, that's what we need to do. That's all we got to do is just delete Facebook accounts and we don't need the data centers. Yeah, no problem. We'll delete them.
Let's take a vote.
We'll stop streaming on Facebook.
About Facebook. We'll go back to MySpace.
Exactly. Well, no problem. What do we, that's why I have a problem with that. Did you see the Heather Overstreet video though about the data centers, the 2-part video she did?
Where she went to the data centers?
Yeah. How much information did you learn from those videos, Rob?
Nothing.
Exactly. 0. She says it's literal slop. It's nothing of substance. She doesn't give you any information about the data centers.
The politics of the game. They love it.
Doesn't tell you anything. Says people say they're loud. Here's how loud it is on my video. Oh, I couldn't record in there. I asked some questions, but I wasn't allowed to record it. But I'm not going to tell you the answer, what questions I asked. So believe me, the data centers are good. That's the videos.
But that's what politics loves. They love the emotion. Like when you get, if you're a fan of hers, or you think that she's got some insight to something, right? Or she's the investigative journalist because she went on scene at one particular AI data center, then what she says, you'll see parroted in the commentary underneath because it's saying what the Republican, in Missouri at least, the Republican Party wants you to believe is that this is no big deal. What are you guys fighting us for? What are you guys, Chinese operatives? Good Lord. What are you, are you from Iran? What are you with the Chinese? I mean, the leftist lunatics? I mean, those arguments just are goofy and ridiculous. But that's how it works.
You want to know what I found out too? So she's married into the Overstreet family, right? So that's not her maiden name. So she's.
Are you doing background research on Helen Overstreet?
Oh yeah. So people did it for me and they just sent it.
Okay. What'd you find out?
They're just posting it out there on her posts. So this isn't, I'm not digging into this. I'm not doing a bunch of research. This is people posting this on her Facebook post. She, so her husband's family, I guess, they own a gun company in Boonville, Missouri. They were given a $200,000 forgivable loan by the government to move their gun company to Boonville, Missouri.
Really?
Yeah.
That made me like the government.
Yeah.
That would make me like the government a lot.
A lot. Yeah. So super interesting.
Is that verified? Don't be getting my show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Once I'll pull. I mean, I can pull up the article right here. No problem.
Why would they give her a $200,000? They gave her a $200,000.
Not her. No. That's why I said that.
Her family, but
her husband's family somehow. I don't know if it was his dad or a cousin or uncle or something like that. But
he's married.
That's the city that she lives in. I believe is Boonville, around that area. Yeah, in Missouri.
She's married.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. She's talented. I think Heather Overstreet is talented. I don't agree with her on some of the things that she talks about, but she'll figure it out.
Great social media person.
Yeah, she's really good at social media. Yeah, you got to show me this. I got to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in these things.
Yeah. Once I found that, I was like, this is interesting.
Well, she seems very smart, right? Because she does these social media videos where she's very eloquent and very smart. And then she's pushing for AI data centers and the tax legislation, but she doesn't answer any of the pushback against her position ever. I watch all the people push back on her on her social media feeds, and she doesn't really answer any of them. I don't get it.
All right, here's the AI overview, so we can just get a good summary. so everyone can know I am telling the truth here. They own CMMG. That's the name of the company, a firearm manufacturer based in Boonville, Missouri that produces AR-15s and other semi-automatic rifles. In 2016, the Boonville City Council and the local Industrial Development Authority awarded CMMG a $200,000 forgivable loan to relocate their operation.
What is a forgivable loan? I mean, they don't have to pay it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they gave her $200,000 to get a business.
If you meet certain criteria, then you don't have to pay it back. Yeah.
Oh, so they used the government to get a $200,000.
Yes.
Will you get to work for me? How do we get $200,000? I need $200,000 right now to expand the operation. Can you get a government loan for me?
We could, but
independent journalism. We get an independent journalism loan since
we'd have to switch everything we're saying to praise Trump, though,
or Israel. What if I start wearing an Israel T-shirt with the Israeli flag behind me? You think we can get some money then?
Oh yeah, 1 second.
It's an American flag done. You're costing us cash, Isaiah. Can you turn the Robb card? There we go. Now we're talking.
Is that better?
No. Yes.
Is that better?
I guarantee we can get some money now. In case the Robb Carter Show put it on an Israeli flag, then we can get some money. Right.
Sorry. I just sorry to throw that in there at the last minute. I know we're wrapping up and I do have to go. But just that's been on my mind all day, and I wanted to bring it up to you. And since we were talking about the AI and the AI data centers, I just thought it was a good time to bring up.
Dan's got it right here.
Wow. Amy just texted me from Missouri. She said the claim is that the forgivable loan terms weren't even met.
Really?
Wow. Interesting.
Oh no, you didn't.
I will tell you. I'll defend.
I defend anybody.
I'll defend the Overstreet family here.
I have it.
As someone who's on a city council, we call it a board of aldermen, the same things. The city council is allowed to award the loan even if the criteria is not met.
Can I get a loan in St. Clair? How do I get the loan in St. Clair?
Oh man, they're pretty brutal here because we just went through this with one of the biggest manufacturers here, and we did not pay him 100%. We only paid him 80%, and he was upset about it. So it's. I got to find a town that would allow me to get a forgivable loan for $200,000. Yeah, and not meet the criteria and still get all the money.
Even if I meet it, I'll meet the criteria, but I want
I'll meet it. No problem.
I will. I'll meet the criteria. I want the money. I need the $200,000.
Go Trump. Israel's the greatest, and they are our greatest ally.
Stop it. All right. Okay. We got to finish with this though. All right. So peopleslobbymo.com. I want people to check that out. We're doing therobbcartershow.com. That'll be the website that is, we're going to look at that tomorrow. I believe the beginning of it, then it should be done by the middle of June. Then we're going to move over to People's Lobby Missouri, and we're going to make that a hub of information for People's Lobby Missouri. I'm hoping that Act for Missouri will we'll get a link on there so we can go right to them for the information. We'll share money together. That's the whole point, is to get enough money so that we can do the things that we're talking about. We don't want to be, when I was on the radio, Isaiah used to say all the time, if I'm here 10 years from now, screaming and ranting and being aggravated by what's going on in our government, and we've not been able to change everything, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse, I won't do it. There's no sense in it. We're not doing this because we want to be radio or podcasters. I mean, I'm not, at least. I'm doing this because I want to see some action. Once I started to recognize what was going on, I got very frustrated and said, this can never happen again. And it all started with COVID. Mm-hmm. From there, it's kind of mushroomed into more and more and more malfeasance that I see from our government. But
Charlie Kirk's assassination was the last.
Assassination was another one.
That was the last kick that I needed to start getting more involved.
Yes. You and I are I would say this about us. We are doers. We are people that want to see things change. We really want to see things change. It's important to us. peopleslobbymo.com. I would love donations to peopleslobbymo.com. It would really make our lives much easier. We let the money sit there. The only thing we're using that money for is when we put on events. I use it for travel back and forth to St. Louis, which I haven't even taken out the money yet. The board says that I can, but I haven't even taken out that money yet. Outside of that, I don't think I've spent more money than I've taken out. All right, I do. I think I've spent way more money. So that money is really sitting in there so that we can get a little bit of a piggy bank, so we can begin to do the marketing for People's Lobby Mo. I think we're getting gear here before too terribly long. We'll try to make some money on gear. But ultimately, if you want to be a part of our organization, you have to sign up at peopleslobbymo.com, peopleslobbymo.com. We need the donations. We need the help. We need what's the word for it? The
revenue?
Volunteers. We definitely need volunteers.
Very much so.
Go right there. And we are starting to get some things done. We got something done with and I'm not exactly sure how this plays out. I got to talk to Sheriff Bonham. But one of the things that is on our agenda was to get constitutional sheriffs back in order, right? and that happened. So that legislation went through. Now we are working on the video in the Senate. We were having a couple of meetings.
Which Lieutenant Governor Wassinger seems very hopeful for next session.
I think that happens next session. I think we'll be instrumental in that. Then we're getting into elections, and we're getting into taxation and all of these different things that we become the voice of when there's something going off the rails legislatively. We just want to be your voice to go out and say, listen, we're going to drive these people crazy until we have conversation. And if people don't know the story, we'll market the story. We'll get the billboards. We'll buy the social media campaigns. We will do the organizing. We'll hand out the flyers on the street corners. We just have to have enough money to do it because, as you might know, Isaiah, people don't like working for free.
Yeah. Well, that's what I find myself in the midst right now. I'll tell everyone just so that they can just know it's hard for me right now. My wife and I own a business, and then I still consult because I have to make money. I don't make that much money from the show. You know, we put in it's
babysitter money.
Yeah, it's a full day's worth of work that I'm doing, but I'm making basically nothing, and I'm sacrificing time that I could be working on consulting opportunities, you know, and things like that. That, I mean, anyone I talk to wants to pay me a couple $1,000s to help them with their marketing, but I can't do all that. I can't focus on other people's marketing when we're trying to grow the show, right? Exactly. And so. And I don't want to. I don't want to, you know, truthfully, I don't want to. I'd rather focus all my energy and efforts into the show because I think this is most important. And so
just like if we had more money coming in, Isaiah, to where we could focus on it 24 hours a day, because we're going to get off now.
That's my purpose of just telling you guys this. I'm just trying to be honest and transparent with everyone where we're at.
But when you'll get off, right, you got other stuff to do, right?
Yeah. I got to go
under normal
circumstances, help my wife and take care of the kids. And
we could, if we had enough money coming in, we could do the show, and then we have enough money so we're not freaking out and having to make money in other ways. And we could work on the show. We could work on booking guests. We could work on the travel schedule. We could work on all kinds of different things.
That's my point. Thank you.
Clips and social media posts, documentaries. I'm still not past the documentary phase because Jeff Wilson and his buddies, he set me up with some documentarians. I would like to do a documentary about the things that we're doing. I think people would be amazed at how government works if they really, really understood how it worked. And we could put those storylines together. We could do that. We see it. So anyway, that's the end of it. peopleslobbymo.com. Help us out. If you want to help out Isaiah, go to X, go to the Rob Carter show at the Rob Carter. I'm sorry. When you're on X, is it at the Rob Carter now, or did we change it?
Yep. It's at the Rob Carter.
At
we
the Rob
probably update it to the show to add show at the end.
Leave it. It's okay. At the Rob Carter. And then when you go to my profile page, you'll see a link tree, and it's Kofi, Kofi. That's Isaiah. That's the little tip jar for Isaiah so that we can keep him in the game, because if he leaves me, I'm in trouble. Don't be leaving Isaiah.
This is the here's his X account right here.
Don't go anywhere. I will find you.
I know. Like Aaron, he'll hunt me down.
You see that Rob Carter right there? Look at that Rob Carter at the top, and that yellow, and see that right there?
Yes, sir.
So that is a sign. That's a literal sign that was hanging on my wall.
Wow.
And the lights were red. The Rob Carter was lit up in red, and the wall was black behind it. I took a picture of it to show it to the guy that gave me the sign, right? So I took Glenn is his name. So I took a picture of the sign. I was going to show Glenn what it looked like on my wall, and that's the way it came out. So in the actual picture with my iPhone camera, the letters were red and the background was black. When I took the picture, that's the way it came out on my picture. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
You can actually see the lines on my wall.
That's how imagery.
See the lines behind on the wall, Isaiah?
Yep. Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's so crazy. Now that you say that, I know exactly where that sign was and exactly where it was on your wall because I recognize it.
There it is.
But right here, and then you got it pinned right here, so everyone can just click
Pop
on
it
that.
up.
Go over here. You can click this support tab right here, and you go here, and you can donate.
There it is. You're doing good. You're getting. You're probably going to end up with. I think you had $500 in donations the first month, and you're at $300 now with about a half a month to go. So you're looking at $600.
Let's do it.
Help out Isaiah. All right, everybody. That's all I got for you. We'll see you tomorrow morning, Tuesday at 9 a.m. on the Rob Carter Show. Isaiah, have a great day.
Thanks for listening, everyone. See you guys tomorrow.
Thanks everybody.